I probably average about 5 hours sleep. Don't sleep very well during the week.
You see, on my days off, whereas I sort of think... No. As I've got older, this is the thing, as you get older, I'm waking up at 6 o'clock, and then, you sometimes you think, oh, I'll just stay in bed for a few hours and just... I can't, I've got to get up.
You're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
So I'm like up at 6:30 doing the dishwasher and doing a load of laundry.
Oh,
and...
no.
Do you feel it later on, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Oh, no.
But once I'm awake, I've just got to get up now.
Oh, wow. So
that's an age
good,
thing.
It's productive.
No, it's...
See, at the weekend, if I don't set an alarm, guys, I could be asleep till 10:30.
Yeah, but
It's
that's
a real
good.
problem.
I think
it's
that's
a real
nice.
problem. But I feel like I need it. I catch up on my sleep at the weekend, you see. But anyway, so yes, the nation is only getting 6 hours, 27 minutes, and apparently, according to the NHS, this is why the nation is so groggy and has high burnout levels. We're not sleeping enough.
And why we're all so bad-tempered.
And crotchety.
That's a terrible first thing. We get into the office, oh, we've never seen anything like it.
I'm actually a morning person. I'm a... Yeah, what is it called?
I don't know.
Something owl?
A something owl? A night owl?
No, I'm not a night owl.
A morning owl?
I'm a morning lark, yes, not a night owl. Yeah, I'm definitely not a night owl. Anyway, let us know what you think. gbnews.com/say.
Hope it gives you something to smile about this morning, because you're going to need it.
Yeah.
Because it's bad news for our bills, as the fallout from attacks on major gas plants, way over there on the other side of the planet, really, is hitting home.
Yes, UK gas prices have surged by 25%, while interest rates are expected to rise twice this year, leaving households facing higher bills that could actually persist now for years to come.
Well, the Prime Minister's under mounting pressure from within the Labour Party. Amid warnings, he may need to reconsider the government's borrowing rules in light of the ongoing conflict.
Well, all of this comes as the European Union has backed Cyprus after it called for a discussion about the future of what it described as colonial British military bases on the island.
Let's talk to political commentator Duncan Barks, who's here. Morning, Duncan.
Morning.
I mean, we're still in the midst of a cost of living crisis, and now things are going to get worse.
Yeah, I think it's a case of buckling up, really, and trying to ride out the storm. It will be a storm. It's going to hit people in this country in a couple of ways. First off, energy bills. As we know, as you just outlined, gas prices rise by 25% after a missile strike on what's the largest natural gas factory in Qatar. We also know that the cost at the pump, doesn't matter if you drive unleaded or diesel, I mean, particularly if you drive diesel at the moment, I mean, you're going to have to find some extra cash. I saw 180 a litre yesterday, which is a shocker. All of this has a massive impact on the cost of living and people and their everyday expenses. There's a political issue here as well that was alluded to a few moments ago. There's a great phrase that was uttered, a statement that was made by the former Prime Minister Harold Macmillan, events, dear boy, events. And they have a habit, events that you can't predict, blowing governments off course. So if you're Rachel Reeves as Chancellor, if you're Sir Keir Starmer as Prime Minister, you're desperately trying to get your economy back on track. You want credibility from voters, and then along comes what we're seeing with the war in Iran, and consequently you can't control any of it. So people's cost of living goes up, and they look to the government to potentially help them or support them. And as we've been hearing, there's pressure on the Prime Minister at the moment to support families in this country with the cost of living. How do you do that? Well, you end up borrowing more money to try and ease rocketing fuel bills, etc. That has a massive impact on your fiscal rules or the promise you made to the nation to try and get UK debt down. And just to put it into context, at the moment, before any of this kicked off, we pay £105 billion a year to service our debt interest alone. So if you think about a credit card, that's not paying off the rump of the credit card. That is the interest alone, 105 billion quid. So consequently, if you're Rachel Reeves, you've got your head in your hands this morning thinking, my word, what do we do about this? I've got a lot of Labour MPs who say we've got to ease the cost of living. How am I going to pay for this? Do I relax the fiscal rules and borrow money?
Yeah, but that screws us for decades to come.
It does, and future generations. You know, this is the problem. So politically, it is a massive issue for the Labour government, and domestically, in terms of everyone who's watching and listening to GB News this morning, we see the cost of fuel go up in terms of driving past petrol stations. We know our bills are going to go up as well. We know the interest rates were held yesterday at 3.75% by the Bank of England. That's predicted to go up a couple of times by the end of this year, potentially to 5%. So if you're a saver, you might be thinking, well, there's a little bit of hope there. However, if you've got a mortgage, you're in a slightly different mindset.
Yeah.
They're going to be ramped up again. Duncan, can I ask you about this story which is leading the GB News website this morning? This is about Cyprus. They want to have an open and frank discussion about the future of British bases on the island. What's going on here?
This is really interesting, and I think this has been bubbling away in the background for a while. Viewers and listeners will recall that one of our RAF bases in Cyprus was hit by a drone back on the 2nd of March. It's believed it was launched by Hezbollah from Lebanon. I didn't know this at the time. There were protests in Cyprus from local people who are kicking off about this, concerned that Cyprus is becoming a target as part of this conflict because there are not one but two RAF bases on Cyprus. And it's really interesting. There was graffiti around various parts of Cyprus and the capital. Cyprus is not your launch pad. Stop the war. One woman spoke to the media saying Cyprus wanted nothing to do with this war. So we now have politicians in Cyprus, namely the president, who's saying, well, hang on a second, I need to listen to my people here. And there is a debate going on about whether or not Cyprus is happy to continue to host or be a location where there are RAF bases. And as you just mentioned, Ellie, the EU seem quite keen to support them.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is we're meant to be able to protect, and we're not doing so at the moment, or at least not in the way that we should be. Just before we let you go, can we have a quick word about Kemi Badenoch and shoplifting?
Yes. If she saw a shoplifter, leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch, leader of the Conservative Party, says that she would confront them. And I think this is a really interesting debate. She did an interview yesterday, and they're launching their, as we know, there's local elections on May the 7th, and she was launching the Conservative Party's campaign for local elections. And she was talked about crime and law and order, etc., and what has been the rise of shoplifting. I don't know about you, but I've seen it in my local convenience stores in the past. I've been on GB News in the past, and I talked about my local co-op where the sausages are locked in a Perspex box with a GPS tracker to stop people nicking them. You know, you're talking about a £4 packet of bangers. So I think most of us have seen some kind of shoplifting. And she's saying, well, there's an onus of responsibility on the general public if they feel able to tackle people who are seen shoplifting. And I found myself thinking, look, I'm a big fella, all right? I'll be really honest with you. If it was a bloke who's 4'11" who was behaving out of order, I might go, mate, what are you doing? All right? But then my second thought would be, am I going to get a blade in my kidneys? Because you never know. So it's a really interesting debate that this kicks off, whether or not, as members of the public, we have a responsibility to tackle shoplifting.
But it's also vigilantism, which can prove to be problematic.
And where's the line? When is the line crossed? Because given that example, Stephen, if you're in your local 9 to 5 convenience store, you tackle someone, they get a bit leery with you, you decide in self-defence to give them a wallop, are you going to get prosecuted?
Well, exactly, yeah.
This is it. I don't know if it's the most sensible advice.
No, but it does. I mean,
I
think
can see the frustration.
Well, she's saying it would be her gut instinct, and I think it comes down to that, doesn't it? I mean, it wouldn't be mine. She's a braver woman than me. I'd be probably walking off in the other direction. And
I think maybe there is an argument to say we should do more about it, but I think the majority of people would think, well, hang on a second, is the law on my side here if I tackle someone?
I think maybe it's different if you sort of the idea of tackling someone down to sort of just shouting it out, this person's stealing, whatever, maybe that's what you have to do.
Or just saying what you're doing,
what you're doing. Put that back.
Yeah, maybe that's what she means.
That's probably as far as I'd go,
But I think that's fair enough.
And it's a very interesting debate, law and order, crime. Everyone's got a story to tell about witnessing it in their neighbourhood. You know, which is the political party going forward is going to be the hardest.
Yeah. All right, Duncan, good to see you. Thank you.
It's a really interesting debate, isn't it? Let us know what you think. Would you confront a shoplifter? Let us know what you think. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Now, at 12 minutes past 6, more than 100 students have been turned away from a meningitis vaccination clinic in Kent after staff closed the queue before everyone could be seen.
Yes, according to the university, nursing staff were unable to see any more patients because they clocked off at 5 p.m. sharp.
I mean... It's a crisis.
It is, yes.
It's a health emergency.
Control, wouldn't you?
Really? Well, it comes on the day meningitis cases, both suspected and confirmed, rose to 27. Well,
let's speak now to Chief Executive at Independent Pharmacies Association, Dr. Layla Hambeck, who joins us. Very good morning to you, Dr. Layla. First of all, what is your reaction to these students, 100 or so of them, turned away from this pop-up vaccine spot as staff said they had to finish at 5 p.m. sharp?
Well, I must say, obviously, this has to be prioritized. As you were saying, this is a national emergency in Kent, and the cases have been rising. So we need to do everything we can to get the vaccination panned out as fast, as quickly as possible, and efficiently.
We've talked about how this is, doctors across England have been put on alert for all of this. How does this apply to pharmacies? Because, a lot of people don't realise you're the forgotten sector in a way, but you are the very first rung of public health in this country, and people will be turning up to see you with symptoms, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely. We are the front door to the NHS. We see 1.6 million people walking through our doors on a daily basis. And we've seen a massive demand with regards to meningitis. People are curious to know about it, but also they want to get vaccinated. So we are very much alert around how to advise people on the symptoms and so on. But there needs to be a much bigger awareness about meningitis and the consequences of this disease, so that people are aware to act on the symptoms ASAP as soon as possible.
We had the news yesterday, Layla, didn't we, that the number of cases has risen to 27, up from 20. What's your response to that, and how do we contain the spread from here?
Well, obviously, it's very concerning, and I'm pleased to see that antibiotics have been handed out to students as soon as possible for prevention perspective, from a prevention perspective. But we need to get to the bottom of how this has happened and what can be done in the future. From our perspective, we have been calling for our teenagers and younger adults that missed out from 2015 to be vaccinated, to have the NHS vaccine, because this disease is terrible. It can kill and it can leave people disabled, and so you can imagine the number of people and parents who are worried about it, particularly when the government initially called it a national incident.
Yeah, and just finally, do you think, we talked about extra support for doctors and all of this, pharmacists, and particularly sort of community pharmacies, are they getting the extra support they need to deal with this extra pressure?
Not really. As you were saying, we are kind of the forgotten sector in many cases by the government, despite the fact that we are the first point of contact for many people. But we've struggled so much to get hold of the vaccine stock. And yesterday they said they're going to be releasing 20,000, and that was after massive campaigning from our side to be able to do that. So there needs to be a much better communication. There needs to be much better preparations, and working with all healthcare professionals on the front line to deliver this. I hope that the government has learned something from this.
Let's hope so. Dr. Layla Hambeck, thank you very much.
It is a concern. And even if you're not, because you shouldn't be getting the antibiotic if you're not within an at-risk area or at-risk group or anything else. But you still, there'll be a lot of people just want to go and talk about it. Yeah. What should I be doing? What should I be looking out for? And it's pharmacists that have to deal with all of that 9 times out of 10.
Don't they?
They're a very stretched sector, and yet we rely on them so much, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Right, it is 17 minutes past 6, and it's time for our daily reflection.
The GB News Daily Reflection.
Hello, I'm Mike, a Church of England vicar. Many of us know the tedium of being trapped in traffic on the M25. Sometimes it's hard to imagine that we'll ever get to our destination as we inch through the junctions. But here's the thing. It is the joy of arriving that keeps us able to face the arduous journey. The Bible often describes life in these terms: an arduous journey, a pilgrimage through a barren land. And how often it can feel that way with the sorrows and difficulties that life throws our way. The question in those times is, do we have hope that this journey leads to a good destination? Many people of great influence want us to believe that life's journey is ultimately meaningless, that there is no destination, that this M25 is all that there is. But Christ offers hope. As we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, we can know that He is with us. And for those that He guides, there is a glorious destination that makes the arduous journey worthwhile.
Yeah, it's something to think about to start your day.
Yeah, that's our daily reflection on this Friday morning.
Right, should we have a look at the weather? I know it's meant to be quite nice again today.
Is it?
But it was so foggy driving in this morning. Really, really foggy. So if you're out and about first thing, just be a little bit careful.
Also, I've heard great things about the weekend.
Oh, really?
Apparently tomorrow's meant to be stunning.
Oh, all right. Oh, lovely.
I don't know if that's true or not.
We'll find out. Here's Aidan.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. It's simply a dry and sunny day for virtually all of the United Kingdom today, and with less cloud in the northeast, it'll be warmer here as well compared with the last couple of cloudy and cool days. The winds have switched direction for northern parts of the UK. That does mean that a weak weather front will just drift into the far north and northwest of Scotland. Later, that will provide thick enough cloud for a few spots of rain. Otherwise, it's dry across the board. Sunny spells and certainly a brighter day to come for northeast England, eastern Scotland. In fact, that's where the highest temperatures will be, 17, 18 Celsius possible. In some spots, that's 8 degrees or so higher compared with the last few days. But it's not entirely sunny as we end the day. We've got this thicker area of cloud for Shetland, Orkney, into Lewis and Harris, and that will give a few light showers. Otherwise, for much of Scotland, clear spells to end things on Friday. Plenty of clear spells for Northern Ireland, just some high-level cloud drifting into the far west later on, and patches of high-level cloud elsewhere across England and Wales, but not enough to spoil things. There are a lot of clear spells across the map heading into Friday evening and overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds, temperatures will soon fall away despite the warmth of the day. It's going to be a chilly night, especially towards the south and the east of the UK, with a frost expected in places as we begin things on Saturday, some mist and fog patches as well. A different story for the northeast of Scotland. Here we've got thicker clouds, keeping things frost-free, but also allowing some light showery rain to emerge into the northwest Highlands and again the Northern Isles and the Western Isles. Otherwise, it's another sunny day across the board, with temperatures responding very well indeed. Light winds, increasingly strong March sunshine, and highs into the mid or even high teens in places, much cooler in the northwest of Scotland.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Now, today is the spring equinox. We're going to be finding out about the meaning of all of that next.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Welcome back to breakfast. It's 25 minutes past 6, and today is the spring equinox, which marks the end of a long winter and the official beginning of spring.
Why do we mark it, though? Let's talk to author and historian Martin Whittock. Martin, good morning to you. I mean, obviously, it happens each and every year, but why is it that we do mark it and hold it in some significance?
Well, as you say, it begins spring, and as you see, I've dressed suitably spring-like today, looking somewhat like a daffodil to brighten the morning. The spring equinox, as you say, is the moment when day and night are almost exactly the same length, and it comes from a Latin word, equinox, meaning equal night. And after this, the sun climbs higher in the sky each day, driving the kind of seasonal changes we associate with spring, warmer temperatures, growth, renewal, and so on. And that's the key to the importance of it in historical societies. Because obviously in farming communities, it was really important to know where you were in the year. You didn't have the kind of calendars we have. And so you needed to know where you were in the year in terms of, for example, putting flocks out to graze, in terms of planting crops and so on. And we know that historical monuments such as Stonehenge are thought to align with solar events, including equinoxes and solstices. And although often we associate it more with the solstice, some experts think it also is aligned with sunrise and sunset at equinoxes as well. And at Knowth, which is on the banks of the River Boyne in the Irish Republic, which is a big chamber tomb, it looks like passages and carvings line up with these equinox light patterns. Now, that was important because it signalled a start of seasonal gatherings, but also things to do in the agricultural year, which have been connected with things like putting your animals out to graze, knowing when to plant your crops. And that's very, very important in earlier societies, which were largely agrarian societies. Interesting enough, at a pyramid known as El Castillo in Mexico, the equinox sun seems to create a shadow that resembles a serpent descending the staircase, and it's often linked to a local deity. And also, there are ancient festivals like Nowruz, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, which is the Persian-Iranian New Year, celebrated for over 3,000 years, and today observed by millions across Iran, which is very much in the news at the moment, of course, Central Asia, the Caucasus, and parts of the Middle East. So it's because it signals the turning of the year, the passage of the year, which in agricultural societies was just so important.
Well, Martin, the spring is very welcome after a very long winter. Good to see you in your lovely pastel yellow blazer. Thanks, Martin.
Good to see you too. Have a good day.
You. Right, well, if you are travelling to work or school this morning, whatever the weather, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8 eastbound, the junction 15 on slip from Castle Street is closed for essential overnight roadworks. On the A174 westbound, between the A171 and the A172, a broken down vehicle has one lane blocked, with normal conditions expected after 6:30 this morning. On the M25 anti-clockwise exit slip at junction 24, another broken down vehicle is restricting one lane, and traffic should ease after 6:30 this morning. And on the trains, Avanti, West Coast and Cross Country report major disruption at Glasgow Central. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
I'm Michelle Dewberry, this is Jubes & Co with you.
Hello everyone, Patrick Christie is here. GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold. They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos.
What we're going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak.
Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
English clubs.
What are you saying, Aidan?
I was saying it was a good night for the English clubs.
Oh, good.
It was.
Well, tell us about it, Aidan.
Certainly, yeah. Well, Nottingham Forest, should we start with them?
I think we should.
Absolutely. It took them penalties to get past a team called Midtjylland.
Oh, they're Danish, aren't they?
They are, indeed. How do you know that?
Well...
You know more about football than you make out.
I'm not as stupid as I look.
No, what was our phrase? Cabbage looking?
I'm not as green as I'm cabbage looking.
Yeah, nothing to do with what we're talking about, but sorry about that. Look, Nottingham Forest were 1-0 down from the first leg. They turned it around yesterday by winning by 2-1. They went to penalties. And you know what? I'm pleased for them because they've had some rotten luck this season. They're on their fourth manager of the campaign. And it was it's now their first Europa League quarter-final since 1996. What were you doing in 1996, you two?
I was 2.
I was working in Nottingham.
Not a lot.
Oh, you covered a bit of Forest, didn't you?
I did a bit. I used to, That's why I know a little bit about Forest. I was working at Trent FM.
Wow.
Nottingham's better music mix.
They're going to... They're going to be falling over themselves this morning because they've got a European quarter-final. Let's hear from their manager, Vitor Pereira, after that win in Denmark last night.
We worked a lot the set plays, and I believe that we were in I said before the game, we are in half time, and we have 100 minutes to win the game and I think we deserve.
So that was Vitor Pereira. Huge game for Forest at the weekend, of course. A relegation of 6 points against Tottenham. They rested a few players last night because the Premier League is just so important now. You've got to stay in that league. It's become existential.
I'm a bit worried for Sunday.
About Spurs?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, at home.
Yeah,
it's massive.
6 points. I know it's massive, isn't it?
We'll be talking about it all weekend. Must mention Aston Villa, though, as well. They're also through to the quarterfinals of the Europa League. And again, a team who've suffered just recently a couple of midfield omissions with injury, etc. John McGinn, who celebrates the size of his backside.
Oh,
he
sorry,
loves it.
what?
He does. John McGinn, yeah, he's got a big behind. Yeah, he loves it.
Has
he loves
he?
it. Yeah, he has.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get a picture of it later on, maybe. But no, he talks about it a lot, and he says it helps him play the game and everything because it helps him back into defenders. He's difficult to get round, but he scored last night, and they're through to the quarterfinals. And again, they held all that stuff with Maccabi Tel Aviv, didn't they, earlier in the season? So their quarterfinals, their quarterfinal place feels like it's well earned. And they can still get into the Champions League via the league route. Crystal Palace as well, another club who've had a difficult campaign. They're through in the Conference League, having won in Larnaca. And I must also give a mention to Luke Littler.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Wow, this man is absolutely incredible. We are talking about darts, Ellie, in March. We never used to talk about darts at any time of the year apart from the end of December and the start of January. And he pulled off, Luke Littler, at the age of 19, an astonishing comeback last night. He was 5-0 down against a really top player, Welsh guy called Gerwyn Price, who I've interviewed many times, and he actually won in Dublin last year in the Premier League. He was 5-0 down Littler. He said, I don't know how I did it, but he rattled off 6 sets to win. Absolutely extraordinary, and well done to him. And what he's doing for darts is absolutely extraordinary, has to be said. No wonder he's raking in the cash.
Well, good on him.
His mum and dad watch GB News.
Do they?
They do indeed.
Oh,
They
that's
love
brilliant.
it. They absolutely love it.
Is it true that they give him an allowance? So we would, I think it was in the papers one of the days, wasn't it? It's like 50 quid a week they're giving him or something.
Really?
Yeah, apparently they're in charge of the money and they're giving him an allowance. But I love that, though.
I met Harry Hill yesterday. I met Harry Hill and he said his mother-in-law watches GB News.
Really? It's fantastic, isn't it?
But he doesn't.
Sorry?
He doesn't.
He didn't say he didn't. He didn't say he did. He asked me what I did for GB News. So he didn't. He doesn't watch very often, then, does he? If he didn't know what I do.
I tell you what, I keep seeing clips on YouTube of all Harry Hill's TV burp.
Great, wasn't it?
It was really funny, actually. Yeah. Might be of its time, but I thought it was really good.
He wrote it with a guy called Paul Hawksby. He was one of the script writers, and they basically just used to take the mickey out of all the soap operas and some of the script writing and things, didn't they?
Yeah, very good.
It was brilliant.
Very good.
Oh, well, you get about, don't you?
Do a bit. Yeah, I'll try to. Try to. Benefit the show.
Oh yeah.
Doing it for the kids.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aidan.
Right. Time for the Great British Giveaway now. It's our biggest prize of the year so far.
Yeah, worth over £92,000. That's 25 grand in tax-free cash, plus a brand new 4-berth camper van. Summer is sorted, isn't it?
Oh, yes. We could get, if we had that, can you remember, where could we go?
Well, I wouldn't be going.
Yes, you...
I'd meet you there.
You're not into that.
Space.
You're not into all that, are you?
Bringing the kitchen with you. It doesn't appeal to me, no. But
we've just bought a tent.
Have you?
Yeah, we just bought a tent. We want to do a bit of wild camping this summer.
Oh, we are yin and yang, aren't we?
We are yin and yang.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah. Anyway, if you fancy a camper van and 25 grand, here's how.
A camper van and cash could be yours in our very latest Great British Giveaway. You could be driving away in this brand new Benavan 122. This 2026 model, worth over £67,000, comes with all of the mod cons you'd expect. Alloy wheels, solar panel, electric step and plenty of storage space. Plus, it comfortably sleeps 4 people. It's the ultimate home from home. And that's not all, as you'll also get an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash to boost your bank account this year. It's a prize package worth over £92,000 and it could be yours. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. The winner may be contacted live after all entry routes have closed. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
We're just talking about wild camping. It's quite...
I mean, she can't cope with it at all.
I don't get it one little bit.
What about a camper van, though? Could you not do that?
See, what's stressing me about
You've got built-in shower and toilets and all that?
People love camper vans.
Oh, yeah.
My auntie and uncle have got one, my mum's got one. I just don't know if I can get on board with the idea of bringing everything with you. Why would you bring everything with you? Your kitchen bits and your cleaning bits.
All right, get in touch. gbnews.com/yoursay. Tell Ellie what she's missing out. Because she's not done it properly.
Oh, well, I haven't done it, so I can't really talk.
No, it's great. You've got the freedom of the road, go where you like, stop where you like, within reason. And just have a really nice time exploring places. And you've got all those home comforts all there.
Oh, maybe I could get on board. Anyway, let's know what you think. gbnews.com/yoursay.
Right, still to come. You can find out why the Green Party wants softer sentences for terror suspects. Did I say that right?
I think you did, yes.
That's it.
Did I hear that right?
I don't
so.
Very unusual. That, isn't it? We're going to go through that in the papers with Charlie Rowley and Sebastian Salek.
But first, we're going to search some holiday sun. Here's the forecast across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel destination.
This weekend, low pressure has been forced to relocate elsewhere, and one area of low pressure will stay close to the Canaries and Madeira during the next week, bringing slow-moving heavy showers and thunderstorms could cause flash flooding. That also bringing some showers into southern Iberia. Plenty of fine weather through France, into Italy, but another low around Greece and Turkey will also provide heavy showers and thunderstorms.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
To like that medals awarded to our heroes, our boys in First World War, are being bought and melted down by scrap dealers because of the rising price of silver. Now, antique shop War & Son have launched a campaign to save the medals from the melting pot, and they've already rescued more than 160. Now, joining me now is Stephen Noir, who is director of War & Son. Stephen, if I can use your first name, good afternoon to you. This is a very sad story, that these medals are being sold down. They are part of our history.
Indeed, Andrew. Thanks so much for bringing focus to this campaign, first of all. I do think that overwhelming kind of emotion is sadness. It's not an anger aimed at anyone. I think that in these times, economic times, it's we really have to try and keep the education going. We really have to work out what our priorities are. And I think this just comes from, sadly, a lack of awareness and something that, shouldn't be happening, that you can kind of understand the reasons but underpinning why it is happening. So really, with the campaign that we're putting together isn't a massive departure from what we do as a business anyway. But if we could just get across to the public that it's the stories behind each medal. Yes, it's an ounce of silver or just over an ounce of silver, but it's a medal that's named on the edge of the medal. It's named to the rim. And you can research these stories. So each one is a person, each one is a story. And I think so if they end up in the smelting pot, they disappear forever and just become a name possibly on a memorial. And that sacrifice is lost forever. And it just needn't happen as far as we're concerned. So that's why we've committed our pledge.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Breaking news, live updates, stories that matter.
From the heart of the GB newsroom to every corner of Britain, with our team of dedicated journalists across the UK.
GB News bulletins are there to deliver the latest news that matters to you.
Bulletins on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
It is 6:44. Let's have a look at the front pages for you.
Yes, and the Mail reports on the war in Iran with concerns that mortgage rates will rise now for millions of Britons.
The Telegraph has the latest developments in the Middle East, with Saudi Arabia threatening to launch direct strikes on Iran.
The Times reports that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned President Trump that Iran's regime won't be toppled from the air.
All right, let's talk to former Special Advisor Charlie Rowley and Labour Councillor Sebastian Salick. Good to see you both this morning. We'll start, Charlie, with the Mail, should we? And looking at the impact of the war here in the UK.
Absolutely, and we're now talking not just about increases in fuel bills because of the way in which we need the oil and gas to sort of pump our homes and heat heat our homes, but also provide energy for our infrastructure projects. We're now talking about interest rates going up because of borrowing costs to fund that gap or to plug that gap, which means that the cost of living is just going to increase further for people. So it's hitting people potentially now in the pockets when it comes to their mortgages because interest rates will go up, potentially. So we're now seeing an international conflict, something that is hitting us here home in Britain. And therefore, I mean, everybody wants it to come to a conclusion as swiftly as possible. Nobody wants to see a war. But the question is, how does it come to an end sooner? Is it by further involvement of the UK, or actually getting involved? Is it by European allies coming to the defence of Donald Trump, coming to his call to say that, yes, we are going to get involved, yes, we are now going to maybe see the elimination of the regime in total. How can we get that Straits of Hormuz open?
That's vital.
And this is, you know, I think a blind spot that nobody... Well, it's easy for us to say nobody could see coming. Maybe the Americans and Israelis should have seen coming by laying the mines, in particular, that Iran have been able to do in that particular part of the Strait. So, you know, we don't know where those mines are, which makes it incredibly difficult for any kind of ships to pass through that particular area, which delivers the energy and the oil that we need here at home. Yeah. So an international conflict hitting us here in Britain, and, you know, the government will have to, and it's already said it will step in to help, I think, £150 off people's energy bills. But will that be enough if it then turns to mortgages?
Because this is the thing. I mean, we have already been in a cost of living crisis. People are already struggling to make ends meet. And now it looks like it's only set to get worse.
Yeah, and the kind of damage that's being done is the kind that even if the war ended tomorrow, we would still see prolonged effects. We saw liquid natural gas plants bombed in Qatar. Qatar, massive country for LNG. We import a lot of our LNG from Qatar, and it's going to take a long time to rebuild those provisions. So even if everything stopped tomorrow, even if it was peace on earth, we're still going to be seeing that flow through into our energy prices, which, as you say, is a real problem because we've just been through it and we're seeing another shock.
Yeah, so what do we do about it? I mean, there's calls from the Labour backbenches, particularly, to relax the fiscal rules so that we can borrow more. But we're already borrowing huge amounts of money, more than ever before.
Well, that's it. The point about the fiscal rules is they are rules, and if you break them, then they're gone. And look, it's going to make things harder, of course it is. But the point is, government after government has been more relaxed than they should have been about borrowing, because in the short term, it's helpful, it's politically expedient, but it's not responsible in the long term. And so what we need is adherence to those rules, come what may, and even if that is going to be more painful in the short term. We have seen, though, some moves to support some people in the UK, particularly in Northern Ireland, where they burn gas as their energy source, or oil.
Isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And we may see more packages like that are a little bit more short term. But clearly this is going to be an issue. We have the advantage that we've lived through it quite recently. The mechanisms are there. We know how to respond to it. But it is going to be felt.
That's the thing, we've lived through it so recently. It's the resilience, isn't it? It's so difficult for people already. Sebastian, let's stay with you, shall we? The Greens want softer laws for terror suspects.
Yeah, it's a funny one for the Greens, because they're in the position where they're not in government, clearly. And that kind of means you can say what you want, and it means you can say very attractive things to win over people who might not have thought about voting for you.
Who is that attractive to?
Well, that's exactly it. It's a strange thing for them to be saying, and it feels like a bit of an own goal. So, at the moment, if you're arrested for normal crimes, let's say, things like murder, you can be held for up to 36 hours. I say normal crimes because I'm going to discern it from terrorism, where you can be held for up to 14 days. And to my mind, that's quite important because you need time to be able to question people, find out exactly what they're plotting. Exactly. So it seems sensible that we are able to hold terrorists for longer than if you'd done something else. And so I think this is a bit of a political own goal, and I'd like to see how the Greens defend it.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's pandering to just a subsection of society. So it's on the back of the Palestinian Action Group that were prescribed as a terrorist organisation by the government. Rightly so, in my view. I know there's a challenge of it through the courts and people have different opinion of it. But if you have even people within a particular group, even if not the whole society of that group itself, but if people who are fully signed up, signed, sealed, delivered members of Palestinian Action, and they decide that it's OK to break into RAF bases and destabilise some of our military equipment, by the way, that we could have deployed or should potentially be deploying out in the Middle East to help people with the cost of living that we were just talking about. So those people who have been identified, or groups that are identified as being a prescribed terrorist organisation, the Greens are pandering to them to say, right, actually, we feel that they've been hard done by, so we're now going to water down the system, potentially, for anybody that could potentially be arrested for terrorist offences or wants to be questioned. Those people, and they could be Islamist extremists, they could be far-right crackpots, these are people that want to do us harm. These people, it's quite a high bar, I would imagine, to be arrested anyway on suspicion of terrorist offences. Those people should be detained for as long as possible, in my view. I mean, it's, abhorrent if you're... well, I suppose... If you're innocent, at the end of the day, OK, there'll be, a cause and a process.
There's got to be an argument as for why people are detained for longer, and I guess the argument would be that it's more complex. You're talking about pulling apart quite a complex web when it comes to potential terrorism, whereas, as you say, what we would normally consider an ordinary crime is comparatively simpler.
That's it, and not everybody who's involved in a terrorist attack is necessarily setting off a bomb. You've got people funding the operation, you've got propaganda, there's a whole infrastructure around an attack like that. And let's not forget that every time there's instability in the Middle East, we see a resurgence in this kind of attack. So these stories are linked, I think, and especially now, we have to be very vigilant. And we certainly shouldn't be watering down the laws that allow us to detain people, question them, and hopefully prevent attacks.
Well, you will have a view on that one at home, gbnews.com/you'll say. Let us know what you think. Charlie, let's talk about this meningitis outbreak, shall we? And Wes Streeting joined some young people who were queuing for vaccines yesterday.
Yes, and look, a worrying development, I think. People will keep an eye on it. We don't want to panic people too much because, the idea of wearing masks and the idea of people queuing again and people having social distancing and all that, it brings back a lot of memories to what is coming up to 6 years. On Monday, it will be the start of the very first lockdown that we experienced in this country. So it is a reminder of those darker times. So I don't want to panic people too much. But if there is advice that says that actually in a particular area where they're trying to contain and jab people up to make sure that they're prevented or protected, but also can prevent the spread of something that is just a bit of a spike in a particular part of the country, then you've got to adhere to the rules. But the Health Secretary didn't wear a mask, whether he was asked to or not, I'm not quite sure, but he obviously felt able not to, if that was his...
Well, I'll tell you what's interesting with this, because you would think, under these circumstances, perhaps, wear a mask. No one in these pictures is wearing a mask, though. There are actually... As soon as I say that, there's some people in masks. But we had, and I can't remember if it was a doctor or a pharmacist on yesterday, and they said wearing a mask has no impact with meningitis.
And that's the troubling thing.
So why wear one?
Well, but you're right. I mean, when you have an outbreak, and we should... This is the problem. A whole inquiry has taken place when it's come to COVID into what went wrong, the government advice, whether it was right, whether it was wrong, the medical advice was that whether that was right, whether that was wrong. We should have learned all of those lessons by now, particularly amongst an outbreak of something that we do know a bit more about. Meningitis is not a new phenomenon. It's not a new thing that's come from wherever it's come from, Wuhan, you could argue. So the advice and the guidance should be ready to go, off the shelf. And so
the advice should be clear. Do you need to wear a mask? Do you not? In some pictures there, as you say, some people are, some people aren't. And the Health Secretary, obviously, I would have thought, and you'd hope had been given the advice that you don't need to, Health Secretary, but go and visit the people that are doing the work to protect people and prevent the spread of the disease.
And what an operation as well, coming out so quickly, the UK Health Service Authority, jabbing all these people, the public communications campaign. And I think, again, this comes from COVID. We have a team of people now who are formerly civilians, now are expert jabbers who we can deploy if we need to. We have the discipline that you go and get your jab, you understand that that's important. So while this is horrible and a little bit scary, we do have that heritage now where we can put all of this into motion as and when we need.
Just as we're running out of time, I'm just looking at the Meningitis Research Foundation that says face masks may help stop the spread of some germs in some situations, but not the best way to stop meningitis spreading. Okay. There you go.
Thanks,
all right, you two. Thank you.
Here's your weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. It's simply a dry and sunny day for virtually all of the United Kingdom today, and with less cloud in the northeast, it'll be warmer here as well compared with the last couple of cloudy and cool days. The winds have switched direction for northern parts of the UK. That does mean that a weak weather front will just drift into the far north and northwest of Scotland. Later, that will provide thick enough cloud for a few spots of rain. Otherwise, it's dry across the board. Sunny spells and certainly a brighter day to come for northeast England, eastern Scotland. In fact, that's where the highest temperatures will be, 17, 18 Celsius possible. In some spots, that's 8 degrees or so higher compared with the last few days. But it's not entirely sunny as we end the day. We've got this thicker area of cloud for Shetland, Orkney, into Lewis and Harris, and that will give a few light showers. Otherwise, for much of Scotland, clear spells to end things on Friday. Plenty of clear spells for Northern Ireland, just some high-level cloud drifting into the far west later on, and patches of high-level cloud elsewhere across England and Wales, but not enough to spoil things. There are a lot of clear spells across the map heading into Friday evening and overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds, temperatures will soon fall away despite the warmth of the day. It's going to be a chilly night, especially towards the south and the east of the UK, with a frost expected in places as we begin things on Saturday. Some mist and fog patches as well. A different story for the northeast of Scotland. Here we've got thicker clouds, keeping things frost-free, but also allowing some light showery rain to emerge into the northwest Highlands and again the Northern Isles and the Western Isles. Otherwise, it's another sunny day across the board, with temperatures responding very well indeed. Light winds, increasingly strong March sunshine, and highs into the mid or even high teens in places, much cooler in the northwest of Scotland.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you for making us Britain's #1 news channel. Together, we have built something truly extraordinary.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8 eastbound, the junction 15 on Slip from Castle Street is closed for essential overnight roadworks. On the A174 westbound, a broken down vehicle has one of two lanes closed between the A171 and the A172, with traffic expected to return to normal after 7:15 this morning. On the M25 anti-clockwise exit slip at junction 24, one lane is shut for a broken down vehicle, with conditions expected to ease after 7:15. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Cross Country report major disruption at Glasgow Central. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
You could be the proud owner of a brand new Benivan 122. This very latest 2026 model comfortably sleeps 4, comes complete with built-in kitchen, compact washroom, and is worth over £67,000. But that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £25,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like in the coming year. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus 1 standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
the late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
Because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Soaring energy prices are threatening to cripple the economy.
With warnings that the war in Iran could cause bills to rise for years to come. That's despite President Trump promising that the end is in sight.
I wanted to put out that fire, and I said, you know, if I do that, oil prices will go up, the economy will go down a little bit. I thought it would be worse. Much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon.
Well, it begs the question, should the government now urgently change fiscal rules to give a boost to the economy?
Elsewhere today, Cyprus threatens to ditch the RAF bases on the island, calling them colonial, and the EU is backing them all the way.
Sadly, at the moment, no end in sight in that meningitis outbreak. Officials investigating just how far it's spreading.
As it's revealed that less than 1 in 50 hospitals have portraits of the King on display, we're going to be debating this morning if it's a sign that Britain is less patriotic than ever. The leader of the Conservatives, Kemi Badenoch, has been speaking exclusively to Christopher Hope.
The King is the best of our brand. The royal family is the best of our brand. People look at them in awe. I think that they do so much good in this country, and that's something that we should be proud of. But we keep being told, oh, let's keep this repressed. It might upset some people. Someone's worried about colonialism. Someone's worried about racism or white privilege. All of this rubbish needs to stop.
England boss Thomas Tuchel names his squad for the 2 March friendlies later today, with his selection expected to offer a glimpse as to who will make the plane for this summer's World Cup. And we'll hear how Arsenal are scrambling to meet demand for the shirt sales featuring the name of their 16-year-old prodigy.
It's another beautiful spring day out there for much of the UK. Plenty of warm sunshine, even for those areas where we've been plagued with cloud over the last few days. Full details coming up in the forecast very soon.
It's just gone 7 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
Should we talk chocolate?
Oh, please, it's my favourite thing in the world.
Well, it's not going to be for much longer.
Oh.
Easter eggs. We know they're all on the shelves already.
Yeah. I'm already eyeing them up.
It's, I'm
cheaper
afraid...
than I thought, actually.
Cheaper than you thought? Yeah. Well, you're wrong there, Aidan.
No, I don't know about that.
They're wrong. Look at this. We've got prices here from Asda, Tesco's, Morrison's, Ocado, all of these sort of retailers. The Galaxy Milk Chocolate Extra Large egg has dropped by 40 grams in weight and gone up by £1. That's a price rise per 100 grams of 44%.
So shrinkflation, basically.
It's shrinkflation, so they're more expensive. I mean, look at this. This is the standard Galaxy milk chocolate egg in Tesco's has gone from £6 to £7 and dropped from 252 grams to 210.
Do you know what I've noticed, though?
Actually, that's the same egg, actually, as as Asda's, but a lot more expensive anyway.
That drives me mad.
Look at this. If you want the Cadbury's Assortment Minis Mix Easter Egg Sharing Bag...
Oh, that sounds nice, yeah.
That's still 232 grams. It's not shrunk, but it's gone from £4.20 to £6.79.
Yeah, but I've noticed...
62%.
I've noticed that if you buy them on Easter Monday, they're cheaper.
Well, they would be.
Well, they will be, yeah. Well, funny
would
that.
be. It's like the Boxing Day sales.
It's the same egg. Buy it 24 hours later, it still tastes the same.
I know, but chocolate has got so expensive. I was looking at baking the other day, a mini egg
mini eggs
banana loaf, which looks really nice. There are other chocolate brands available. And a bag of mini eggs was something like £2. And you needed 4 bags. I was like, well, I'm not going to bother.
My local cafe in Bromley has a mini egg cake, and the owner, Justine, bought 16 kilograms of mini eggs back in January, and she can't meet the demand because everyone wants them. And now it's not about the price of them. They can't make them quick enough.
Oh, wow.
Incredible, isn't it?
Well, there you go.
Very tasty.
But there you go. I just think it's really depressing.
It is, yeah. And people feel cheated when you spend all that money, you get the Easter egg home, and then it's half the size it was the year before. It's all packaging now, isn't it?
Yeah. Just use less packaging. That'd save you a bit of money.
And more chocolate, please.
Imagine 16 kilograms of mini eggs.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Ooh, that's a thought. Anyway, we couldn't afford it.
No.
Right. I'm afraid when it comes to pricing, things are going to get worse here in the UK because drivers here are grappling with rising prices at the petrol pumps. You will have noticed that already, and it is going to get worse because of the Iran war continuing.
Well, it means that oil has soared after Iran hit the world's largest liquefied natural gas facility in Qatar. This was in retaliation for attacks on its own oil fields.
Well, the cost of oil has a significant effect on wholesale, of course, and that's stuff. Everything travels by pretty much by boat and by lorry and all the rest of it, so the costs there are going up. The wholesale cost of fuel going through the roof. The average family car is going to cost, well, at the moment, £11.16 more per week to fill, and that's just going to rise.
That's a lot already, isn't it? Does the government need to do more to support British families who are going to struggle to make ends meet?
Let's talk to business and finance broadcaster Michael Wilson. Michael, morning to you. I mean, we know to an extent there's not a great deal that we can do apart from sort of buckle in and try and tighten our belts. What about what the government can do? Does it have anything?
OK. I had a little thought about this yesterday, watching petrol prices rise. If you remember, during the COVID crisis, everybody sort of got together for reasons good or bad. I certainly remember that. I'm sure you do too. Why, therefore, not offer to take your neighbour, offer a lift, make the actual car journeys come down, because these price rises are not going to decrease any time in the future. I mean, that's pretty obvious, isn't it? Petrol companies and supermarket forecourts, prices will continue to rise. Unfortunately, what is happening in the wider world, we're experiencing an enormous economic shock. The coastline of Hormuz is so difficult to police. It's ambush territory, and so therefore prices will rise. And what do we know about what's happening on the world stage? All right, so therefore, just to carry your suggestion slightly further, is it worth relaxing the very strict fiscal rules, which are that the level of borrowing, in simple terms, will sort of stop by the financial year 2029-30. Is it worth now reducing the fiscal straitjacket that the government finds itself in at the moment and providing some sort of help for the community to try to combat price rises? Well, the Tories did it during COVID. I've got some figures here. I think that they actually offered a £40 billion package during the first days of COVID, when they were worried about that. If that were to increase, well, that's fine. And if that were to happen again, that's fine too. But this just kicks the can, as far as I'm concerned, further down the road.
Yeah, it becomes a problem for the future, doesn't it? Can I ask you about mortgages? Lots of people now concerned about what to do about their mortgages, with this warning from the Bank of England yesterday saying they may actually need to hike rates up later on in the year.
I think that's pretty likely. They held pat at 3.75% yesterday. I can't see that not increasing by the end of the year. Maybe up to 4%, as it was before this reduction. But still, interest rates at the lowest since 2023. So it's worth building those kind of costs in. But the banks have started to pull long-term mortgage deals away from consumers. So therefore, anything you can do at the moment to try to reduce the cost of your mortgage, bearing in mind that there may be a big hike by the time you come back to the mortgage market, that's got to help. Have a word with your bank, your building society, or your mortgage broker. I would.
Okay. Michael, thank you very much indeed. It's a depressing picture, I know, but you've always got some good advice. Thanks very much indeed. What about the political side of all of this? Duncan Barks is here. I mean, it is just a mess, isn't it? And, I mean, the problem with something like this is the government's hands are pretty, I mean, maybe not entirely, but pretty much tied.
Well, it's beyond their control, isn't it? And there are factors at play that, government policy can't really do anything about. And we talked about the impact on mortgages. We talk about the cost of living. We know that the price of the pump has gone up. Anyone who's filled up in the last 7 days will be all too familiar that they're paying more for their diesel or petrol. And we know that energy bills are going to go up as well. And also the cost of food will go up because the knock-on effect is if you've got a truck that is delivering to a supermarket, it's going to cost more money to fill that truck up to get it somewhere. And also food production is going to be hit because bills are going up. So you just go round and round in circles.
Actually, I was just thinking then about farmers. Yep. Because it's going to cost them more to produce food.
Absolutely.
But I bet no one's going to pay them any more for it.
No, they won't. And there's always been this long-running debate about whether or not supermarkets are truly fair to farmers when it comes to actually paying them for milk and such products or whatever. So this is something that's not going away, sadly. I don't want to be a doom and gloom merchant this morning. We heard Trump say that, well, the war's going to be ended soon. Not if you look at the front page of the Times this morning when you have the Israeli Prime Minister, Netanyahu, saying the only way to get rid of the regime is boots on the ground, right? So that's not just bombing Iran, that's actually putting troops in. Now,
that's a different...
Yeah, exactly. So this is not going anywhere fast. It's a bit of a nightmare for the Prime Minister and indeed Rachel Reeves. They're desperate to get the economy back on track and they can't get a grip on this because all of these factors are beyond their control.
Well, this could also be a nightmare for the government, couldn't it? This is the leading story on the GB News website this morning, Duncan. This is Cyprus wanting an open and frank discussion about the future of British military bases on their island. And this doesn't really come as any surprise, does it? Because after those strikes, they were openly frustrated about the fact that Britain hadn't managed to defend the bases, let alone the islands.
This is a massive headache for Sir Keir Starmer this morning, our Prime Minister, because you have not just Cyprus saying, hang on, we want a conversation now about whether or not we should carry on hosting RAF bases on our island, but you also have the European Union and the European Council going, yeah, actually, we support Cyprus in wanting this conversation and saying, where does the future go in terms of RAF facilities on the islands? And Ellie, you're absolutely right. After the first drone attack back on the 2nd of March on the RAF base, at Kritiri, there are protests locally and people don't want to be seen as being part of this war because Cyprus is seen as being vulnerable. Then you roll into this the fact that it took us a long time to get HMS Dragon, the Type 45 destroyer, out of Pompey Harbour down to Cyprus. It's not there yet. It was last seen off the coast of Gibraltar.
Well, it spent 3 days bobbing about in the Channel, didn't
exactly
it?
That. They reckon
it's still not there.
It's going to get there on Monday, they reckon. And Cypriots are going, look, you can't even defend us properly. No. And to add salt into the wounds here, who was able to get a vessel down there to defend Cyprus? It was the French with their aircraft, the Charles de Gaulle. So if you're a Cypriot and you're based on the island, or you're based as one of these RAF bases, because there are 2 of them down there, you're probably feeling a bit vulnerable and a bit hacked off.
Just anecdotally, I know a Cypriot family who are living near one of these bases, a woman and 2 children, and she was moved out of her village for safety after those strikes, and she is so frustrated with the British for putting her family in danger. She's like, the least you could do is defend our bases.
Exactly, and understandably so. I think a lot of Cypriots would feel let down at the moment regarding our country's inability to defend them when necessary. And then you read a story in one of the newspapers today about the MOD who are reportedly planning to push back the shipbuilding programme in this country to save 10 billion quid. Now, the MOD this morning are denying this. saying it's not true. It's in the Times. However, insiders within the MOD are saying, well, you know, they're trying to save money. And you find yourself thinking, this is utterly absurd. If you look at the HMS Dragon situation, which took us days and days to get a vessel down there, we need very good decisions regarding future shipbuilding and military capability, particularly with the Royal Navy. Yet this story suggests that the additional funding is, the can's being kicked down the road.
It's where we should be spending money.
Yeah. And
that's a national consensus on that, pretty much.
Exactly. And this is not a political point. This is not just about Labour. Successive governments have not adequately, in my view, invested in the defence of this country, and particularly the Royal Navy. Remember, we're an island nation, so ultimately our last line of defence is going to be the sea. So you do need some kind of robust protection. And successive governments, both Labour and Conservative in the past, really have taken their eye off the ball.
All right, Duncan, thank you very much indeed. It's been good to see you today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, just coming up to 14 minutes past 7, let's take a look at some other stories coming into the newsroom on this Friday morning.
Well, GB News can reveal that almost 150 small boat migrants crossed the Channel yesterday. 400 crossed on Wednesday as smuggling gangs took advantage of the good weather. The arrivals take the number of migrants who've made the illegal journey so far this year to 3,850.
The police investigation into Andrew Mountbatten Windsor could be expanded to include alleged corruption offences. That's after the former prince was arrested last month on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Meanwhile, Thames Valley Police is continuing its investigation into sex trafficking claims.
And the Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch has revealed just 3% of hospitals and 7% of universities accepted a free portrait of the King. The previous government made the offer after King Charles' succession to the throne. Speaking on Chopper's political podcast, she warned that patriotism is in decline.
The King is the best of our brand. The royal family is the best of our brand. People look at them in awe. I think that they do so much good in this country, and that's something that we should be proud of. But we keep being told, oh, let's keep this repressed. It might upset some people. Someone's worried about colonialism. Someone's worried about racism or white privilege. All of this rubbish needs to stop.
I don't know if I've been anywhere and seen a portrait of the King. I don't actually remember being anywhere and seeing a portrait of the Queen, unless you're in one of those official settings.
Yeah, or in a kind of the RAF buildings and all the military buildings, things like that. No, I don't think I have.
No, but actually, I quite like it. What's wrong with being patriotic?
And every other country in the world that you go and visit, you walk into an office or a hospital or anywhere, and there's a portrait of the president or the king or the queen of that country.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen here.
Doesn't. I'll tell you what, here's one for the bosses who'll be watching and listening this morning. Get one here. We haven't got one. We haven't got one at GB News. Let's get one. These official ones, I don't know if we could get an official one, but they're £131 each.
I think that's money well spent.
So if we could buy one of them...
We'll put it up.
I think that'd be nice in our entrance.
In the green room, yeah. I think
show our allegiance to the King.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
that'd be quite nice.
Let us know what you think. gbnews.com/you'll say.
Right, it is 16 minutes past 7 and it's time for the weather with Aidan McGivern.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. It's simply a dry and sunny day for virtually all of the United Kingdom today, and with less cloud in the northeast, it'll be warmer here as well compared with the last couple of cloudy and cool days. The winds have switched direction for northern parts of the UK. That does mean that a weak weather front will just drift into the far north and northwest of Scotland. Later, that will provide thick enough cloud for a few spots of rain. Otherwise, it's dry across the board. Sunny spells and certainly a brighter day to come for northeast England, eastern Scotland. In fact, that's where the highest temperatures will be, 17, 18 Celsius possible. In some spots, that's 8 degrees or so higher compared with the last few days. But it's not entirely sunny as we end the day. We've got this thicker area of cloud for Shetland, Orkney, into Lewis and Harris, and that will give a few light showers. Otherwise, for much of Scotland, clear spells to end things on Friday. Plenty of clear spells for Northern Ireland, just some high-level cloud drifting into the far west later on, and patches of high-level cloud elsewhere across England and Wales, but not enough to spoil things. There are a lot of clear spells across the map heading into Friday evening and overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds, temperatures will soon fall away despite the warmth of the day. It's going to be a chilly night, especially towards the south and the east of the UK, with a frost expected in places as we begin things on Saturday. Some mist and fog patches as well. A different story for the northeast of Scotland. Here we've got thicker clouds, keeping things frost-free, but also allowing some light showery rain to emerge into the northwest Highlands and again the Northern Isles and the Western Isles. Otherwise, it's another sunny day across the board, with temperatures responding very well indeed. Light winds, increasingly strong March sunshine, and highs into the mid or even high teens in places, much cooler in the northwest of Scotland.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
You know, we're saying it's the summer solstice.
Yes.
And things are getting warmer now.
The spring equinox.
So what do you do about coats?
It's...
Because it's not quite warm enough
It's changeable. I'm a bit lost. I wore a blazer into work today, but then I was cold.
Yeah, see, I've got my thick overcoat on.
You need an in-between.
An in-between? What's a good in-betweener?
Like a trench.
Like a trench. I used to have a trench when I was a teenager, you know. It was I got it for Christmas when I asked for it.
But they're a
I used to
classic.
love a trench coat.
They're a classic in the wardrobe.
I used to swish about in that. It was lovely.
Okay. We need another one.
Yeah.
'Tis the season.
Tis the season. There you go. It's all money, 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 though, isn't it? Which we're all running out of because of the war.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's another debate, is it? Should we have a debate in a few minutes?
I think we should, yeah. We're going to be talking about if it's unpatriotic for public spaces like hospitals and universities not to display a portrait of King Charles. Apparently they were all sent this official portrait and only a very small percentage of them have actually put them up. Why?
It's a shame, I think. Anyway.
We're talking about that.
Yeah.
Next.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact is Trump made a good start. No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
7:23. Now, the Conservatives have revealed a staggeringly low number of public spaces have chosen to display a portrait of His Majesty the King.
Well, Kemi Badenoch, the Conservative leader, blamed the poor take-up on managers in the public sector trying to avoid offending people.
Yeah, she spoke to our Choppers Political podcast.
The King is the best of our brand. The royal family is the best of our brand. People look at them in awe. I think that they do so much good in this country, and that's something that we should be proud of. But we keep being told, oh, let's keep this repressed. It might upset some people. Someone's worried about colonialism. Someone's worried about racism or white privilege. All of this rubbish needs to stop.
But why would anyone be offended by a portrait of the monarch of this country being on the walls of public buildings?
But people are offended by the flag. Even though we're driving through London to come here this morning, and you see, they sell the flag and jumpers with the flag on, all the rest of it to tourists.
Yeah, and tourists can't get enough of it.
But if we display one, we're called racist. Anyway, let's talk to royal historian, sorry, darling, Richard Fitzwilliams, and the CEO of Republic and author of Abolish the Monarchy, Graham Smith. Well, we know which side both of you sit on all of this. Let's start with you then, Graham, should we? We do have a monarch. We have a constitutional monarchy. It's not wrong, therefore, to display an image of the king, is it?
I don't think it's a matter of being wrong or right. I think that people just aren't that interested. And my understanding is that when these portraits were made available, that they weren't just sent out, that people were asked to apply for one, and people just didn't because they're not that bothered. I mean, most people in this country aren't that bothered about the monarchy, even though it's just about a majority still wanting to keep it. But the level of public interest is not particularly high, and so people just have more important things to worry about than sticking a picture of Charles on their wall. But, this is a divisive institution. It doesn't unite the country in the way it might have done 50, 60 years ago. It's currently embroiled in huge amounts of scandal in which Charles is implicated. And, those are the serious issues we need to be looking at rather than whether or not someone wants to stick a picture of Charles on the wall. And it certainly has nothing to do with people being offended. People, this sort of notion that everyone's offended by everything, it just isn't the case. And that is not why people are not putting these pictures up.
OK, Richard, let's bring you in at this stage. We've got Graham there saying this isn't about people being offended or not. This is about people who just aren't really that bothered. What do you think?
Well, I think, firstly, this is something that links with patriotism and also links with a very important tradition. Patriotism, and I think Kemi Badenoch's absolutely right, and tradition, I think, are extremely important because if we look back in our history, the monarchy goes back, bar Cromwell, over 1,000 years, and the earliest royal portraits, in fact, were of Richard II, Henry VIII and Elizabeth I made the state portrait something that they could use. And when it comes to actually displaying a portrait of the head of state, a symbol of national unity above party politics. I mean, if you look at the one that was being offered, King Charles was in his Air Force uniform with his role of Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Now, I see that as a democratic long stop. It isn't the question of the power the king has, but the power that he denies to others.
Well,
so it seems to me, I think it's reassuring. Remember, it's important. This is entirely voluntary. £8 million was put aside for this, and yes, the take-up was very, very mixed. So universities, hospitals didn't. Other buildings did. But I find it reassuring. I think it's a tradition that people would like going to an embassy, for example. You would expect, they of Queen Elizabeth, they had about half a dozen of these state portraits taken during her 70-year reign, some painted, some were photographs and so forth. So it seems to me a tradition that's worth continuing, and I hope it does continue, and I'm glad the fact that take-up was so poor has led to a backlash, and also Kemi Badenoch speaking out about it, because it seems to me that it is unifying, and whether or not you happen to approve of a particular sovereign, or I mean, I remember there are 43 monarchies.
Hold on a second, Richard, because Graham's chomping at the bit there.
I mean, the thing is, people aren't that interested, quite clearly. I mean, this isn't particularly a new story. I mean, it was reported some time ago that there was very low take-up. There wasn't a backlash. People aren't that bothered. Now, the idea that having a portrait of an unelected monarch who has never been voted for by anybody is connected to patriotism is just completely bogus. I'm very patriotic in the sense that my concern is for the well-being and the welfare of this country, and that's why I want to see the monarchy gone and for us to be able to choose our elected head of state.
But that's your right, of course, as an individual. But nonetheless, it is symbolic of the country.
Richard, if we just let Graham finish his point. Just let Graham finish.
Don't tell me that being, someone is more patriotic because they want to stick a picture of Charles on the wall. A picture, as you said, he's wearing his uniform. He's wearing unearned ranks, unearned medals, medals he's not qualified for. This is not someone that we should be looking up to, particularly when he's got serious questions to answer about what he knew when on the Andrew scandal, as well as questions around why he's accepting €3 million in cash in carrier bags from a dodgy person from Qatar. Why he was allegedly, offering honours in exchange for donations and so on.
Your personal views on the monarch shouldn't, in my opinion, be relevant to whether or not a portrait is displayed, because a blank space, how inspiring is that? It isn't.
Well, it doesn't be a blank space. We are
you two.
With inspiring people that we could put pictures up of. It doesn't need to be someone who has never done anything other than being born into the right family.
Well, you'll have to agree to disagree on that one, and our viewers will have their say. Our viewers and listeners can get in touch and let us know on gbnews.com/your say. Gents, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. Now, exactly 7:30. Just time to tell you about the Great British Giveaway now. It's the biggest prize of the year so far, worth over £92,000. It's a goodie.
It's a goodie. It's a fantastic full-berth camper van, plus £25,000 in tax-free cash. And here's how you take part.
We want you to enjoy unlimited Great British Getaways this year in your very own camper van. That's right, you could be the proud owner of a brand new Benivan 122. This very latest 2026 model comfortably sleeps 4, comes complete with built-in kitchen, compact washroom, front dinette, and is worth over £67,000. So if you're travelling with family or holidaying with friends, you'll be staying in comfort. But that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £25,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like in the coming year. Make sure you don't miss out on a prize package worth over £92,000. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. The winner may be contacted live after all entry routes have closed. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
Oh, so is he Thomas Tuchel? We need to talk about Thomas Tuchel.
Yes.
Because he's going to announce his squad for England's friendlies a little bit later on. And the big question is it going to be some sort of teaser for the summer lineup?
Oh.
For the World Cup?
Well, yeah. It would make sense, wouldn't it, to give them a run out before?
This is it.
Well, Ada McGee is going to be here talking through all the contenders, the runners and riders, if you like, next.
Thank you for making us Britain's #1 news channel. Together, we have built something truly extraordinary.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8 eastbound, junction 15 on Slip from Castle Street is closed for essential overnight roadworks, so allow extra time and consider an alternative route. In Leeds, there are delays on the A64 eastbound entry slip from the A1M after a road traffic collision, with one of 2 lanes closed. Normal conditions are expected between 7:45 and 8 this morning. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Cross Country are reporting major disruption at Glasgow Central. So check before you travel. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace to Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave. I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB Loyalty Points is here. They're our way of saying thank you for spending time with GB News. Through commenting on your say, voting in You Decide polls and shaping the debate, you can earn GB Loyalty Points. Unlock rewards, reach milestones and climb leaderboards. Don't just watch our programmes, come and be part of them. Get started by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/loyalty points.
Right, Aidan's here with all your sports, 7:36. So it's a big day for Thomas Tuchel. We're going to get the squad for the friendlies, aren't we?
Yes, yeah.
But it's significant.
Yeah, it'll be an indication, I think, as to how he's going to which way he's going to go in terms of his World Cup selection. That's the one we're all looking forward to. That's the job that he's been brought in to do, to deliver the World Cup for England the first time in what's 1966? Is that 50 years? Or 60 years?
60.
60 years, astonishing.
60? Wow.
Amazing, amazing. So he's been brought in to do that job. Look, I don't know how it will look. They've got 2 friendlies against Uruguay on March the 27th and Japan on March the 30th. I would think that having spent over a year with the squad, he must have a strong idea of who probably 3/4, maybe 4/5 of the squad are going to be. The question is, Jude Bellingham not been in great form. Phil Foden not been in great form. Morgan Rogers at Aston Villa, been in great form overall for Aston Villa, but towards the end of the season, not been playing so well, although he's been a bit of an uptick in the last couple of weeks. Cole Palmer really suffered under those 2 managers at Chelsea. I mean, what player he is. I mean, he scored in the Euro final 2 years ago against Spain, which pulled us back into the game. But again, he's not had a vintage season, really, and he's such a talented player. Now, is it 4 players into one position? That's what we don't know. Also, just because it's the end of March it doesn't mean that, given that May the 30th, the first provisional squad has to be submitted, there's still a month for somebody to play their way into the squad. Yeah. And that brings me on to Max Dowman at Arsenal, who...
Oh, well, I mean, he's just a baby, but he's doing so well. But
he did. He scored.
Is he too young to be brought on board?
That's a big question. We want to learn the lessons from 20 years ago when England took Theo Walcott to the World Cup. It was Sven-Göran Eriksson's idea, as well as some of the execs who were on the board of the FA back then. They wanted to take Theo Walcott to the World Cup in 2006 for the experience. He too was 16. He was an Arsenal player, just joined as well, and the decision was basically to bring him along for the ride. He's since spoken about it in more recent years and said he didn't feel comfortable with it. He was never going to play, and he probably took up the place in the squad of someone who could have made an impact in that tournament. So if he plays well enough, and he scored last week, Max Dowman, I saw him make his debut against Leeds last September. He's had an injury this season as well. He's recovered very well from that. Could we see another 16-year-old in the England squad? Look, these four guys here are not playing well enough to guarantee that they're going to be in the squad. I think they will be, because I think the names and history and pedigree does count, but don't rule out a place for Max Dowman either. Also...
the fans love him, don't they?
Oh, they do. Pass me a copy of that. Oh, and I've got a copy of The Sun, because they're playing in the Carabao Cup final on Sunday, Arsenal, against Manchester City, and this is the headline. This is Max jersey sales reach fever stitch. You know why that is? Because they cannot produce enough of these shirts with his name on the back to satisfy the demands of fans. Arsenal are scrambling, says Joshua Hall, to keep up with the crazy demand for Max Dowman shirts. The Super Kid became the Premier's youngest scorer in Saturday's 2-0 home victory over Everton, and they simply cannot produce enough of these shirts. There was queues around the block, apparently, outside the Gunners of the Armoury store at the Emirates on Saturday. Absolutely extraordinary. If the frenzy keeps building and we keep talking about him, I do believe you can almost, talk yourself, or people can talk players into the England squad. Let's just see what happens, because it would be an extraordinary story if he was to make it in there.
Watch this space. Aidan, thank you.
Good to see you.
Right, still to come for you, Kemi Badenoch has revealed how she would react if she saw someone shoplifting. Her reaction's causing a bit of a stir. Find out from Charlie Rowley and Sebastian Salek in a moment as they go through the papers.
Morning, you two. Chat to you in just a second. But first, if you're in search of some holiday sun, here's the forecast across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
With high pressure bringing sunny skies to the UK and France this weekend, low pressure has been forced to relocate elsewhere, and one area of low pressure will stay close to the Canaries and Madeira during the next week, bringing slow-moving heavy showers and thunderstorms could cause flash flooding. That also bringing some showers into southern Iberia. Plenty of fine weather through France, into Italy, but another low around Greece and Turkey will also provide heavy showers and thunderstorms.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Good afternoon, Britain. Weekdays from midday.
Pork pies. They're widely regarded as a classic British snack dating back to the 18th century.
But Tesco's recent survey found that a third of youngsters have never tried the savoury treat.
Outrageous. So the retailer have now released a limited edition pork pie-inspired sandwich. Here it is here. We've got one procured to try it out. But the idea of this is to give the youngsters of today all the chance to enjoy this nostalgic British classic, even if it's not a real pork pie, but a sandwich that has been flavoured as such.
That's a load of processed meat flattened together, like a slice of it. There's a slither in there with a bit of cheese. We're joined now by the owners of Fuller's Butchers and Farm Shop, Steve Fuller and Lily Fuller. Welcome.
Basically, we make our own pork pies. We sell about 400 a week, and yeah, I mean, to me, I'd say they're becoming more popular. Actually, I mean, they're a great snack. You can take them on a picnic. You've got the nice crispy pastry. the nice juicy pork meat inside. So
now I can see you're holding up those pork pies. We have got pork pies flavoured sandwiches here. I wonder if it's time to do a bit of a taste test. Perhaps you could bite into your pork pie there in your farm shop. We'll have a bite of this Tesco sandwich and see how it all feels. It's not going to be great for the listeners on the radio, but here we go. I think they've captured the essence of one. This is an excellent I can't speak with my mouth full of sandwich.
You ate too much, that was where you went wrong.
GB News, the People's Channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in, the Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages. Because the news is going to happen. So get a head start today. Patrick Christie's tonight, Late Edition. Alex Armstrong tonight, Late Edition. From 11 o'clock every night. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Right, it is 7:43. Time for the front pages this morning. Going to get my words out today.
You do struggle with that little clock, don't you?
I do. It's very, very small.
It is quite small, to be fair. There's a big one over there, if that helps.
Oh, yeah, but that, yeah.
Quite far away. Anyway, let's have a look at those front pages.
I'm getting very old.
You're not at all. The Mail reports on the war in Iran with concerns that mortgage rates will rise for millions of households.
The financial fallout from the war is leading The Sun this morning. Reports energy bills could rise by £300 in the next year.
The Telegraph leads on the latest developments in the Middle East, with Saudi Arabia now threatening to launch direct strikes on Iran.
The Times says Israeli Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu has warned President Trump that Iran's regime won't be toppled from the air.
Well, joining us now to go through what's making the news this morning, former Special Advisor.
Well, I was very formal. I was formal at the time.
Very formal. And Labour Councillor Sebastian Salek.
It's going very well this
morning. Between us, we're making a great job of things. Charlie, let's have a look at the Daily Mail, yes. And it's also on the front page of the Times, isn't it? Comments from Kemi Badenoch saying she would tackle a shoplifter.
Well, I think she's absolutely right, I think. You know, without putting yourself in harm's way...
But you would be putting yourself in harm's way if you were to tackle a shoplifter, surely?
Even I might not be the most butch of people to be able to hold back a shoplifter if I saw it. But if there was a teenager of some description, someone that's probably a lot smaller or younger, and if I saw them, plying their pockets with, it was probably going to be alcohol, but, just brazenly walking into a shop, and,
I think it's one thing to call them out. Is one thing.
Yes.
I think to sort of try and physically tackle them. But I'm scared of teenagers.
Well,
they
scare
me. I'm very
That's the thing. You spend your whole childhood being scared of adults, and then you become an adult, and they're terrifying.
Yeah.
They're so intimidating.
But if you are someone that, come on, if you're a Saturday, Sunday, Sunday rugby league player, for example, and you're a gym goer, you're a muscle Mary, and you see someone brazenly, tackling someone to the, applying their pockets with, you should be able to give them a clip round the ear in the old days, didn't you? So now you should be able to give them a pull back by the collar and say, put that back.
See, they might have a knife. This is the trouble. I mean, I know it's like the thing you throw out, they might have a knife, but it's a concern.
You never know, do you? Do you know what? My dad did this, and he always drilled it into me, don't buy, because he was in one of those shops that sells posh knickknacks in Winchester High Street, and he fled out, ran after the guy, tackled him down, got the whatever he'd stolen back, and not a word of thanks from the shopkeeper.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. So he said, don't bother, don't take the risk. And there's a weird political angle to this as well, because the classic Conservative doctrine is personal responsibility, but doesn't that fall on the shopkeeper rather than the person in the shop?
I don't know. But if the attitude, if the message from this, I mean, she has said she would tackle a shoplifter as long as they weren't too big. So there's an element of sense in that.
She'd size them up, wouldn't she?
But I think the idea of saying call them out, make a fuss so that other people notice, and even if it just shames them into not doing it again, then that's I think that's a positive thing.
But I think we've all seen, haven't we, that even security standing on the front of shops, they don't get involved now, because we know, don't we, that the number of shoplifting incidents in this country, a large number of them now are down to organised crime. So they will likely have a weapon.
Well, I think you're right. I think it's twofold, and I think to Sebastian's point, it's making sure that security people on the doors, or even TfL staff, and I say TfL because I use the tube quite a lot. Where people just
Transport for London,
where people don't buy tickets. And we've seen that. We saw Robert Jones with that video. He went to confront people. There were other people that went to go and confront people that were just jumping through the gates that deliberately hadn't paid for tickets. And you do call those people out, but you need TfL staff to do the same. You need shopkeepers and security officers to do the same. But in the event of, as a community, if it's a local community shop, to protect your neighbours and to protect your local area, I think you should. And I'd have no issue, actually, if a group of guys were in a shop and they saw someone else shoplifting, if they, rugby tackled them to the ground, maybe a little jab to the ribs, teach them a lesson, not advocating violence.
Well, but that's where it goes a bit too far, because that's where you can end up getting prosecuted.
Yeah.
Well, that's when, we need to make sure that our laws are on the side of, the victims, and the victim in this case would be the shop that was being thieved.
Yes, well, it's one thing to restrain someone, another thing to give them a little...
Well,
Charlie, I know you've got that streak in you.
Well, you know what I'm like,
I don't think we can advocate that. All right, Sebastian, have a look at the Telegraph, because we're being told now, heck, who cares about personal lives and developing social interaction? We all need to work from home.
Yes, this old debate rearing its head once more. This is coming from the International Energy Agency, which is the global body that advises and corrals countries together to talk about oil and the like. And they're now saying that this is a way you can ease the oil crisis. If you're not hopping in your car every morning, you're helping to save on a bit of fuel, you're not having to spend the money, and you're not having to use the oil, and hopefully the price comes down a little bit.
Well, and it's absolutely true. It's just, it comes at a cost.
It does.
And the cost is the fact that we're not interacting with other humans enough.
Yeah, so they've got a 10-point list of recommendations. That's the top one. The third one is encouraging public transport. So if you do live in London or somewhere with a good public transport system, that's fine, and you can get into the office and you can see people, and you don't have to be totally isolated. But
what about the rest of the country?
Well, that's it.
Got one bus an hour.
Yeah, I know. I grew up in the sticks, and I remember it well. And it's a big priority, I think, for any government to make sure that you should be able to get around without owning a car, which is expensive, it's gas guzzling, and it's a pain to maintain.
No, it's true.
Well, that's why you've got to have bills coming down at the petrol pumps. And, we saw a campaign recently, I think, was it Nigel last week, pledging to take, pay your fuel bill, or pay, to take the fuel duty, remove fuel duty, so people can actually
fill up their... Is that what he's saying, to remove
fill up their car at the pumps?
I know they're about
take
freezing
5p off the...
Yeah, the Tories are saying...
Well, it's removing the green levies, isn't it, on your energy bills, but then also helping you at the petrol pump.
That's money out of the exchequer, isn't it?
Well, if there's growth, which there should be...
Well, if there's growth, it'll be fine. It's just,
measly growth, anything.
All right, you two. Brexit. Come on, because I know you wanted a ding-dong on this one.
Go on, Charlie, kick it off.
Well, it's... I'm the only praise that I can offer this government, which, is rare, is that now we know the Labour Party have come out and said that they basically want to rejoin the EU. Ministers didn't rule out that it will be in the next Labour manifesto. Rachel Reeves has talked about ever closer ties. She's now saying that it would basically be a price worth paying for closer ties, but also that the UK should be funding EU aid pots. Now, that is ridiculous.
To the tune of billions, presumably.
To the tune of billions, where we would be even more of a rule taker. And I just think the public...
And what do we get in return?
Absolutely nothing. This money will go...
Hang on, that's not quite true.
It is.
That's not quite true. So let's go over the facts here. Rachel Reeves hasn't said anything. The story here in today's Mail is that senior EU diplomats, speaking off the record, they don't want to give their names, are telling the Mail that Britain should prepare for taking part in that cohesion fund, which is part of poverty alleviation. Now, this is a negotiation that we haven't even entered yet, so they're already putting their terms on the table. We don't know what we're going to get in return because we haven't asked for anything.
We know exactly what we'll get. We'll get clobbered. They will ask us to pay over and above to join these silly pots, these other schemes, like the Erasmus scheme? Why are they charging us millions of pounds, or want us to pay billions of pounds, actually, over and above what they were offering Canada? The EU treat us like dirt
well,
on the back of leaving.
We've treated them pretty poorly as well.
Quite right too, because we've been rule takers. We decided to leave. That was a British democratic vote, and we should be spending UK taxpayers' money on communities in this country that have been left behind, not EU towns and villages that they would want us to cough up money for.
Well, we don't necessarily have to agree to this demand. Negotiations fluctuate, don't they? Some things come in, some things come out.
Do you think we should be closer then? I mean, Sadiq Khan has come out this week and said we need to rejoin the EU, the single market and the customs union.
So Sadiq's been particularly punchy. I would like a closer relationship with Europe. I think jumping straight into rejoining immediately might be a political misstep.
But you're not against it?
In time, but that could be 50 years, that could be 100 years. I think in the immediate term, what we need to do is make sure that we're trading closely with our closest neighbours. It just makes economic sense.
But they're not going to play nice, are they?
Well, they are if there's something in it for them as well. If they can access a market like
our
us.
our money, our UK taxpayers' money.
Our brilliant products, our langoustines and all the wonderful seafood we farm and fish.
Well, exactly. They can keep their hands off our fish as well, which they sort of took for far too long. So, but that's it. It's about a deal, but it's a deal if you have a deal that works for the UK. And for too long, I think, everybody talks down the UK saying, oh, Brexit was the problem, Brexit was the problem. We decided to leave. We decided to open our markets globally and the opportunities globally. The EU want to punish us, as they continue to do so, with these kinds of schemes and these kinds of reports that we would be just a rule taker and paying more. And I think the public won't buy it.
All right, you two. Thank you very much. See you later.
Here's your weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. It's simply a dry and sunny day for virtually all of the United Kingdom today, and with less cloud in the northeast, it'll be warmer here as well compared with the last couple of cloudy and cool days. The winds have switched direction for northern parts of the UK. That does mean that a weak weather front will just drift into the far north and northwest of Scotland. Later, that will provide thick enough cloud for a few spots of rain. Otherwise, it's dry across the board. Sunny spells and certainly a brighter day to come for northeast England, eastern Scotland. In fact, that's where the highest temperatures will be, 17, 18 Celsius possible. In some spots, that's 8 degrees or so higher compared with the last few days. But it's not entirely sunny as we end the day. We've got this thicker area of cloud for Shetland, Orkney, into Lewis and Harris, and that will give a few light showers. Otherwise, for much of Scotland, clear spells to end things on Friday. Plenty of clear spells for Northern Ireland, just some high-level cloud drifting into the far west later on, and patches of high-level cloud elsewhere across England and Wales, but not enough to spoil things. There are a lot of clear spells across the map heading into Friday evening and overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds, temperatures will soon fall away despite the warmth of the day. It's going to be a chilly night, especially towards the south and the east of the UK, with a frost expected in places as we begin things on Saturday, some mist and fog patches as well. A different story for the northeast of Scotland. Here we've got thicker clouds, keeping things frost-free, but also allowing some light showery rain to emerge into the northwest Highlands and again the Northern Isles and the Western Isles. Otherwise, it's another sunny day across the board, with temperatures responding very well indeed. Light winds, increasingly strong March sunshine, and highs into the mid or even high teens in places, much cooler in the northwest of Scotland.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you to our global community for watching and listening to GB News. We're not only the #1 news channel in Britain, we're chosen by you around the world.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8 eastbound, the off-slip at junction 15 has lane 1 restricted for planned maintenance. In West Sussex, the A27 eastbound is slow between the A259 at Chichester East and the junction with the A285, with congestion easing after 8:15. In Leeds, the A64 eastbound entry slip from the A1M remains closed both ways after a road traffic collision, with conditions improving after 8:30. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Cross Country report major disruption at Glasgow Central, plus delays between Rugby and Milton Keynes. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
A camper van and cash could be yours in our very latest Great British Giveaway. You could be driving away in this brand new Benavan 122. This 2026 model, worth over £67,000, comes with all of the mod cons you'd expect. And that's not all, as you'll also get an incredible £25,000 in tax-free cash to boost your bank account this year. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50. Plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
A really important thing about GB News, and it's brought something completely different to the landscape.
The mainstream is all about keeping the status quo as it is, ticking along quite nicely. They don't want to ask difficult questions.
GB News exists because there is a desperate need for fearless journalism that puts the people first.
GB News came on the scene as a disruptor, and it has always been a disruptor ever since.
Journalism in this country has been a cosy world full of groupthink until now.
Well, the reality is that most British journalists are afraid. That's not GB News.
Journalism is journalism at the end of the day, and we're not here to serve any masters. Our masters are our audience.
We're here to talk about things in a way that have never been broadcast on British airways before.
Do not miss a moment on GB News.
The #1 news channel in the country.
Good morning. Soaring energy prices are threatening to cripple our economy.
With warnings the war in Iran could cause bills to rise for years to come. That's despite President Trump promising that the end is in sight.
I wanted to put out that fire. And I said, you know, if I do that, oil prices will go up, the economy will go down a little bit. I thought it would be worse, much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon.
Should the government now urgently change fiscal rules? Could that give the economy a boost?
Elsewhere today, Cyprus threatens to ditch the RAF bases on the island, calling them colonial, and the EU is backing them all the way.
There's no end in sight yet. When it comes to the meningitis outbreak, officials are looking at just how much this is now spreading.
That comes as this morning the family of Juliet Kenny, the 18-year-old who died in this outbreak, has said the devastation of her loss is immeasurable, calling for more to be done to protect families from the impact of meningitis B.
As it's revealed that just 1 in 50 hospitals have portraits of the King on display, GB News has been getting the views of the leader of the Conservatives, Kemi Badenoch.
The king is the best of our brand. The royal family is the best of our brand. People look at them in awe. I think that they do so much good in this country, and that's something that we should be proud of. But we keep being told, oh, let's keep this repressed. It might upset some people. Someone's worried about colonialism. Someone's worried about racism or white privilege. All of this rubbish needs to stop.
It was a triumphant night for English clubs in Europe as both Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa progressed to the quarter-finals of the Europa League, and Crystal Palace advanced in the Europa Conference League. And in darts, Luke Littler pulled off a stunning comeback from 5-0 down to beat Gerwyn Price in the Premier League.
It's another beautiful spring day out there for much of the UK. Plenty of warm sunshine, even for those areas where we've been plagued with cloud over the last few days. Full details coming up in the forecast very soon.
It's just gone 8 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
I'm afraid it is a bit grim this morning when it comes to our bills, and it's not just our fuel bills, our petrol pump stuff. It's going to actually affect all of our bills, food bills, all the rest of it.
Our mortgages.
And it's all down to the strikes on Iran's oil bases. It's hitting home now. We knew it would happen.
Yes, gas prices have surged by 25%, while interest rates now expected to rise twice this year, leaving households facing higher bills that now could persist for years to come.
Let's talk to the Shadow Illegal Immigration Minister, Matt Vickers, who joins us now. Good to see you this morning. What are we to do about this? There are some rumblings saying we need to look at easing our fiscal rules. Is that a sensible way forward?
But we're seeing record levels of borrowing by this government. They're spending, taxing and taxing and spending and spending. What we need to be doing is looking at how much we're spending on welfare. That welfare bill is ballooning. It's not fair on all those people who work hard and do the right thing. If you work in this country, you're paying more and more in tax. If you don't work, you're getting more and more in benefits. So we have to have a look at public spending. But actually, when you look at the challenges of the fiscal, well, the energy crisis, the problems that we're having with oil and gas, we have oil and gas aplenty in the North Sea. This government has made a decision not to allow us to drill that. It's removed the licences, allowing people to go and drill that oil and gas. The end result is that we're importing now oil and gas from abroad. That means higher emissions. It's worse for the environment. We're transporting all this stuff into the country. It means that we are paying bigger prices. It's driving prices up. The lack of supply means that we pay more for it. It undermines our national security. We're reliant on energy supplies from places like Iran. And then, in my part of the world, it's costing a lot of people their jobs. It's the wrong move. We've got an opportunity to solve this. We should have never turned the taps off on the North Sea. It was basically Keir Starmer adopting the Dale Vince just stop oil approach to energy. And as a result, we're more susceptible to these sort of shocks.
But would that actually bring the cost of our bills down, Matt? Because it would still be susceptible, wouldn't it, to global market price?
If you put more of something in, at the moment, supply and demand is a big part of determining what the price should be. We are relying on importing things from places like Iran. If something goes on in Iran, we therefore suffer a shock as a result of that reduced supply. We could start drilling tomorrow. It was the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do. It's completely counterproductive, and I'm yet to hear anybody tell me why we should have banned those oil and gas licences in the North Sea. And then beyond that, we've got the Prime Minister and the Chancellor threatening to impose increases to fuel duty. Fuel duty has been frozen for 15 or 16 years. Now, at the worst possible time, when people are struggling to pay these ever-increasing tax bills in all sorts of ways, when the cost of living is up, when inflation is up, and then this morning we found it's expected to go up yet again to virtually double its target, it is the wrong time to increase fuel duty for families across the country and for businesses across the country who are already struggling to make
So why not ease fiscal rules then? And I mean, it would require more borrowing, which is costing us about £2 billion a week anyway in interest, but it would provide handouts to people who really need that money. You did it in government during COVID. Is it not something the government now should consider?
No, we should be reducing spending. There are opportunities. The welfare bill is exploding at the moment. The amount that we are paying in welfare to keep people at home is not healthy for them. It's not just about saving money. It's about saving lives. Sitting at home and not being able to get a job is not healthy for anybody. We're seeing increases in employment, but all of this spirals back to this tax situation. Record levels of tax. We're not getting any more for it. We've got less police on the streets. We've got challenges with our NHS, GP appointment numbers falling and potentially losing GPs because of the jobs tax. Really damaging stuff. End result, more people out of work, more people reliant on welfare. We need to get Britain working again. We need to give people the opportunity to get on in life. We need to reward success, reward the people who work hard, who create jobs and deliver the economic growth that this country so desperately needs. We need to be reducing spending, not increasing it.
Can I ask you about Kemi Badenoch's comments about shoplifting? She was speaking yesterday saying that she would confront a shoplifter if she were to witness it herself. She would go far as to tackle them if they weren't too big. Is that sensible advice to give the British public, to tackle shoplifting and shoplifters when they see them committing crimes in their local supermarket? I mean, they could be armed.
I think it is. I think people have to have an awareness to their own safety and security. But as a society, well, as a country, actually, we've seen the number of police fall since this Labour government came to office by 1,316. Shoplifting, burglary from businesses is surging. Everyday crime like that is going through the roof. As a society, if we keep turning a blind eye to it, it is going to get ever worse. I used to run shops. I used to be involved Big W, Woolworths, Home Bargains. I've had many a scrap with a shoplifter. It's about being aware of your own abilities. It's about looking at it. She's right to say, I mean, you wouldn't want to tackle Kemi, really, would you? She's a feisty lady. But I think actually it is about having an awareness to your safety and security. Is it right to call someone out who's shoplifting in your town, bringing your town down, costing people their jobs via this theft? Yeah, it is right to call them out. It is right to question them. Most people at home wouldn't agree with that.
But the difficulty you have here, and you know it as well, is there's a difference between calling somebody out, and I think a lot of us would say, yeah, we'll do that, we'll call it out if we see it, to then it's that shift towards vigilantism, which is then problematic, which can become problematic. So you've got to be able to divide the two, haven't you?
You've got to apply a bit of common sense. You've got to look at people. Obviously, there is increasing number of knives on the streets. There is issues with that, and you've got to be aware to those risks. In the first instance, it's speaking to someone. In the second instance, it might be getting between them and a door. That calling out, if we keep turning a blind eye, do you know when we were younger, can you imagine if you were younger and you'd gone nicking some sweets out the shop? You would have got a clip around the ear.
Yeah.
We've gone completely the other way, to the point, if people are seeing shoplifters in shops, there are people who go, oh, crikey, we'll go on to the next shop. We do need to call out this behaviour, particularly in a point when Labour are allowing people out of prison early. They're not putting police on the streets anymore. We've got police stations closing across central London. We need to make a stand. We need to make sure that our high streets are safe places. We need to know that those people who go out and run shops in our high streets are going to be able to carry on doing it. They're getting battered by the government on business rates, on the jobs tax, on the employment rights bill. And on the other side, they're getting battered by criminals because there are less police there to uphold the law. These businesses are struggling to make ends meet. We need to support them.
Matt, just very briefly, because I am being told that we're out of time with you, but I did just want to get your reaction to this story. It's the top story on the GB News website today. This is Cyprus declaring that it wants to have open and frank discussions about the future of British military bases on the island. The president is concerned that they may come under threat now as the war with Iran continues. Of course, they were struck by a drone, weren't they, on March the 2nd. Are you surprised by this move from Cyprus? We're also hearing that the EU is backing Cyprus with this one. And how do we protect our bases on Cyprus and our personnel that are there?
The government let the side down on this. We were too slow to react. Keir Starmer dilly-dally, dither and delay, instead of protecting our bases, instead of allowing the US to use our bases and engage in the situation. If you put a base on someone else's turf, you need to protect that base, that ally, and you need to protect that ally and their interests. We can't expect them to look after our base if we're not willing to stand up and get amongst it. Under the last government, there was warships in that part of the world. The government had put them there. This time we've been caught sleeping. The HMS dragging its heels has only just left. We didn't look after the bases. We didn't look after the ally who allowed us to put that base there. We were wrong to do so. From this Prime Minister, we've got a lack of backbone, dilly-dally, dither and delay. We need to be more affirmative. We need to be more supportive of our allies if we expect them to provide us space for a base.
OK, we've got to leave it there. Matt Vickers, appreciate your time as always.
Thank you. Now, at 11 minutes past 8, more than 100 students have been turned away from a meningitis vaccination clinic in Kent. It's after staff closed the queue before everyone could be seen.
Yeah, according to the university, nursing staff were unable to see any more patients because they clocked off at 5 p.m. sharp.
I thought it was a national incident. You'd think you'd be doing some overtime, wouldn't you? Well, this comes on the day that meningitis cases rose to 27, up from 20.
Yeah, well, our national reporter, Will Godley, is here in the studio. I mean, it's this sort of story that gets your blood boiling, really, when we want to protect these students and contain this outbreak.
Absolutely. Already this morning, I'm being told students are back in that queue, people who were turned away yesterday wanting to receive that vaccine today because, of course, these students would have been too old to have received it as a baby. This was only rolled out back in 2015. And among the students who were turned away were people who attended that nightclub, the nightclub at the centre of this outbreak, Club Chemistry, and people who had already gone home for Easter, driven over an hour to get here, to go to this university to get the vaccine, but were turned away because staff wanted to give the last vaccine by 4:30 in order to then quarantine themselves for 15 minutes to then be able to pack up and leave by 5 p.m. They have the NHS England saying that so far 1,600 doses of this vaccine have been administered, and they're widening out the vaccine rollout programme. Another place in Canterbury and also Faversham and Ashford too, as they have rolled out and expanded this vaccine programme to ask anybody who's been to this nightclub to get vaccinated and also anybody who's received this antibiotic as well. But still questions being asked today about exactly how they're rolling this out, whether it's in the most the best way to treat this outbreak, as you say, Ellie, a national incident. And it comes as one of the people who very sadly died in this outbreak is calling for more to be done to protect families from meningitis B. I can just read to you a little bit of a statement now that Michael Kenny, the father of Juliet Kenny, has released this morning. It's an emotional statement, and he has paid tribute to his daughter, one of two daughters that they have, saying she had a beautifully positive energy which spread fun, love and happiness to those around her. They said the devastation of her loss is immeasurable to her family and friends. And they've said that her illness took her from them so quickly, saying the day before she presented symptoms, she was doing the practical element of her PE A-level. She was fit, strong and healthy, they've said. But then on the Friday morning, she presented symptoms. They took her to the local emergency centre, who then rushed her to A&E in an ambulance. And then at A&E, she bravely fought for hours, they said. But less than 12 hours later, this meningitis took her from them, they've said. And they're now wanting to turn this pain into a lasting change, as they're describing it, saying more needs to be done to protect families from this pain and tragedy, and calling for more to be done to protect people from meningitis B.
It's absolutely devastating, isn't it? You can't even imagine what that family's going through. No. It happened so quickly as well. I mean, just 12 hours, which is just devastating, heartbreaking. Yeah, and they're so brave, paying tribute to her today. Thank you so much, Will. Thank you for bringing that to us.
Right. Let's just change gear a little bit now at 8:15 and have a look at the weather.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. It's simply a dry and sunny day for virtually all of the United Kingdom today, and with less cloud in the northeast, it'll be warmer here as well compared with the last couple of cloudy and cool days. The winds have switched direction for northern parts of the UK. That does mean that a weak weather front will just drift into the far north and northwest of Scotland. Later, that will provide thick enough cloud for a few spots of rain. Otherwise, it's dry across the board. Sunny spells and certainly a brighter day to come for North East England, Eastern Scotland. In fact, that's where the highest temperatures will be, 17, 18 Celsius possible. In some spots, that's 8 degrees or so higher compared with the last few days. But it's not entirely sunny as we end the day. We've got this thicker area of cloud for Shetland, Orkney, into Lewis and Harris, and that will give a few light showers. Otherwise, for much of Scotland, clear spells to end things on Friday. Plenty of clear spells for Northern Ireland, just some high-level cloud drifting into the far west later on, and patches of high-level cloud elsewhere across England and Wales, but not enough to spoil things. There are a lot of clear spells across the map heading into Friday evening and overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds, temperatures will soon fall away despite the warmth of the day. It's going to be a chilly night, especially towards the south and the east of the UK, with a frost expected in places as we begin things on Saturday, some mist and fog patches as well. A different story for the northeast of Scotland. Here we've got thicker clouds, keeping things frost-free, but also allowing some light showery rain to emerge into the Northwest Highlands and again the Northern Isles and the Western Isles. Otherwise, it's another sunny day across the board, with temperatures responding very well indeed. Light winds, increasingly strong March sunshine and highs into the mid or even high teens in places, much cooler in the northwest of Scotland.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Right, 17 minutes past 8 and time to have a look at some other stories this morning.
And GB News can reveal that almost 150 small boat migrants crossed the English Channel yesterday, while 400 people crossed on Wednesday. It says people smuggling gangs took advantage of several days of good weather. The arrivals take the number of migrants who have made the illegal journey so far this year to more than 3,850. That's according to provisional figures.
The police investigation into Andrew Mountbatten Windsor could be expanded to include alleged corruption offences. That's after he was arrested last month on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Meanwhile, Thames Valley Police is continuing its investigation into sex trafficking claims.
The Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, has revealed just 3% of hospitals and 7% of universities accepted a free portrait of the King. The previous government made the offer after King Charles's succession to the throne. Speaking on GB News' Chopper's political podcast, she warned that patriotism is in decline.
The King is the best of our brand. The royal family is the best of our brand. People look at them in awe. I think that they do so much good in this country, and that's something that we should be proud of. But we keep being told, oh, let's keep this repressed. Oh, it might upset some people. Someone's worried about colonialism. Someone's worried about racism or white privilege. All of this rubbish needs to stop.
Right, still to come, we're going to be talking to the mum of a 22-year-old who's currently in hospital recovering from meningitis. So we'll find out how she is and what she wants to see happen now. That's in a moment.
Bold. They are under no illusion. Ray. Are you a human trafficker? Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it. Don't get us on the BBC. Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines. The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it? From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Martin Daubney, weekdays from 3 p.m.
Well, you talk about historical figures. There's a couple of historical figures sat right at the side of you. I think you should stick them a pair on a £5.
We're not on a banknote.
Yeah, on a £5 note, a couple of rainbows on, and Bob's your uncle. I mean, it's just ridiculous, mate. I mean, Winston Churchill, one of our greatest heroes of all time, he led us to victory. If it weren't for Sir Winston, we'd all be... Who
was that? You can't see that on your screen.
Is that you, Dobby?
That's me. Mine's got a £5 note.
You look like...
Hey, they call you 30p, you're £10.
Donnelly, yeah, I've changed my name now. Have we got a chopper in Nigel?
Hey! How come Nigel Nelson got the £50
That's inflation.
note?
That's
Excellent. It should be a euro.
No, I'm not on it. No, it's just not. It's again. It's
£10 chopper. There you go. Thank you very much, whoever did that mischief. And by the way, Nigel Nelson should be on a euro. People like Winston Churchill stopped real Nazis, and now they call people like you Nazis because they've lost context.
What's his occupation? Birdwatcher.
Yeah.
Listen, mate, these people need to get a grip. You know, the people in my community are incredibly proud of our country. They're very patriotic. They signalise lamps on, they fly the flag, and when they see this nonsense and this bird twitcher, whoever he is, I don't know who he is, they get really, really angry. And I'll tell you what they do get angry with, when Nigel Nelson comes out with this nonsense about, you know, our stamps and our coinage changing every so many years.
Yeah, but
it doesn't matter.
We're not wiping out Winston Churchill.
You are.
From
You are.
No,
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're changing a banknote. It's not a big deal.
Why aren't you on this show defending Winston Churchill, saying he should be on these banknotes?
I will defend Winston Churchill.
Defend him right now.
He doesn't have to be on every single banknote.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Co weeknights at 6 p.m. only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to breakfast. It's 22 minutes past 8. Now, we're going to speak to the mother of a 22-year-old woman called Keely Goodwin, who caught meningitis after sharing a vape on a night out.
Well, that evening, she collapsed in her flat and was rushed to hospital by a roommate.
Well, thankfully, she is now recovering in hospital, with her mum, Carly, saying that she's now starting to feel better.
Right, let's talk to Carly now. I mean, this is just such a shocker. As much as anything, Carly, it's the speed of this. It seems to have hit Keely so very quickly.
It really did. It started with a few symptoms and it just gradually, very quick, it got worse and worse within a matter of hours, really.
Well, thank goodness for her flatmate. So what happened there? Did the flatmate go and check on your daughter Keely and then say, oh, I need to take her in to see a doctor? What happened?
Well, no, what it was the flatmates, they sort of knew that Keely wasn't feeling too great, so they kept going in, checking on her, giving her paracetamols and things. And then what happened is Keely actually went to go to the bathroom, to go to toilet, and as she was in there, she had a seizure. As she fell, she banged her head, and she's got a few scratches, but obviously she scratched her face on something, and the housemate, I don't know whether she heard it or walked past and saw Keely, but she then called the ambulance.
Oh, thank heavens for that.
Thank goodness she did,
completely.
yeah.
And so what's been happening in terms of her treatment? How quickly has she responded to that treatment?
She's done it pretty well. They've got it pretty quick. The hospital's been really, really good. I can't fault them at all. They looked into the possible meningitis straight away, and then they done the lumbar puncture. They done CAT scans and stuff just to clarify that it was the bacterial meningitis. But yeah, she's responding very well. She's had a headache ever since this all started. She didn't have a very good day yesterday. She was very, very, very tired, complete lack of energy. But as a whole, I mean, she is improving and there is a light at the end of the tunnel now.
And how are you feeling, Carly? I mean, you must be absolutely beside yourself watching your daughter go through this.
It's something I don't wish on anybody else. To be honest, doing these interviews has helped a lot because I've been so busy, it's taken my mind off dwelling what could have happened. So it is keeping me my brain's always going. And fighting to try and get this vaccine to others, to try and make a difference is helping. But I'm just worried about my other teenage daughter now, who I will really need to get the vaccine because I can't go through this again. No, well, and I mean, I know you've been so busy. You probably have time to sort it out, but I mean, where are you in getting a vaccine? I mean, as a family member, as a sibling, I mean, for you yourself as well, that presumably you should be top of somebody's list somewhere to be able to get hold of this. it would be nice. So I have joined. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say the name, but there is a famous cosmetic shop. I am only on a waiting list for it, but obviously it's a lot of money. But if we have to go without for a while, then we'll go without. I just cannot go through this again.
It should be on. It should be on the NHS.
You're a close
shouldn't
contact, yeah.
I haven't been told anything I've been so busy, obviously, looking after Keela. I haven't looked into that, but no one's been in contact to sort of help us.
We now know that there's 27 cases, up from 20. This was the news that we had yesterday. What do you want to see happen now, Carly? How do you want to see the government try and stop the spread?
First...
Oh, we've lost Carly's line there, but we got the gist of what was going on there.
Oh, bless her.
But it is the shock, and it's the speed of this, and we heard with the tragic case of that A-level student who's died.
Yeah.
And again, it all happened within about 12 hours.
Yeah, Juliet Kenny is one of the 2 people confirmed to have died from meningitis B, and her family have released a statement. It just breaks your heart, doesn't it? Because it happened so quickly, 12 hours, as you say, after she went into A&E. Just saying that she was a force in the world who spread fun, love and happiness, and they described her death as preventable. You can't even imagine the devastation, can you?
No, well, let's just hope people pull their fingers out and get that vaccine to everybody who needs it to contain this, because you don't want to let anybody else go through this.
Yeah, and other families be affected.
Right. There's lots more still to come for you. We'll bring you the latest on the reports that Cyprus wants to ditch RAF bases on the island. More in the papers on that with Sebastian Salek and Charlie Rowley.
First, if you're travelling to work or school this morning, here's your traffic and travel update.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8 eastbound, the off-slip at junction 15 currently has lane 1 restricted due to ongoing roadworks. In Wales, the A465 westbound route from Neath to Llandarcy is slow-moving with congestion. On the M56 eastbound between junction 7 and junction 6, a broken-down vehicle is blocking one lane, causing delays. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast is experiencing major disruption at Glasgow Central, with additional issues between Rugby and Milton Keynes Central. Similarly, cross-country services are disrupted at Glasgow Central and face problems between Cambridge and Ely. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
Exciting news. Every Friday, my Patrick Christie's Tonight Show is going to have a twist to it. We're welcoming some special guests. You. That's right, on Fridays I'm going to be doing my show in front of a live studio audience, because this show is about you and what you have to say. It's going to be the same big debates, same big topics, same big opinions. But every Friday night at 9 p.m, you are invited to come on down to Patrick Christie's Tonight to be a part of the action. Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power?
Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber.
Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics.
We'll see where this ruling takes us.
These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates,
lively conversation,
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
and each other. So join me, Andrew Pearce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The late edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's tonight, late edition.
Alex Armstrong tonight, late edition. From 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
It's 8:31. Let's take a look at some of the newspaper front pages on this Friday morning.
Right, the Mail has the war in Iran. It concerns mortgage rates because this is the impact of it all now.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, it's going to affect all your mortgage rates. They're going to rise for millions of households, apparently.
Yeah, the financial fallout from the war is also leading in the Sun today, with reports that energy bills could rise by £300 in the next year.
The Telegraph has the latest in the Middle East, with Saudi Arabia threatening to launch direct strikes on Iran.
The Times reports that the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned President Trump that Iran's regime won't be toppled from the air.
All right, going through the papers this morning. Former Conservative Special Advisor Charlie Rowley and Labour Councillor Sebastian Salic. Good to see you both. Sebastian, we'll start with Cyprus, should we? Well, I mean, perhaps not surprisingly, Cyprus is very annoyed about the way we've handled security around for the island and for the 2 RAF bases there. But they're talking about basically wanting to get us off the island.
Well, they're making noises, aren't they? So they're saying they want an open and frank discussion, is how they're phrasing it, after all this is over, about how and whether it hosts those British sovereign bases. Now, the problem is they're sovereign bases. They are essentially British territory, and they're making connections here with the Chagos Islands. I personally don't see those links. There's been no international law advisory opinion on this, and so I think it's going to be quite difficult for them to make any demands.
Charlie, what do you make of this? Are you surprised by it?
I'm not, actually, and I'm sad that that's the case, because, you know, whatever you think about what's going on in Iran, you know, and I've said it before, in crude terms, the decision whether to get involved or not is the easy bit. The hard bit is the planning of the aftermath and trying to work out what else could happen and put contingencies in place to, A, look after UK nationals across the Middle East, if people wanted to come home. If you know that there's going to be, or in this, well, you know, who knows whether we knew at what point when, you know, the US and Israel were going to launch airstrikes on Iran. And so if you have a closed airspace, how do you evacuate potentially thousands, hundreds of thousands of people that are in the Middle East, the UK nationals? But when you have Cyprus, the people of Cyprus and our airbase is sort of under attack, where was our planning? There was no thought that even if not getting involved in the offensive strikes with the US and Iran, we should have had people sitting around the Cobra table, the emergency meeting room, you know, in the Cabinet Office in number 10, to plan for any other eventuality, even if we're not getting involved. All of that wasn't done. That's why it took so long for HMS Dragon to get going. That's why the people of Cyprus and people in Cyprus are so frustrated that the UK military is being such, you know, found wanting, when even the French have been able to deploy vessels to support us.
There has been a significant failure here, hasn't there? A government failure.
Well, look, in hindsight, we can all say there was a failure. I'm not a military official. I don't know. Yes, but I don't know what goes into this. I don't know what kind of planning needs to be put into place to be able to prevent something like this. But you could expand it and say that the whole operation has so far been a failure. We're into our 4th week almost. The regime in Iran is still there. Netanyahu's talking about boots on the ground. I think if you told Trump a few weeks ago that this is where we would be in 3 or 4 weeks' time, he probably never would have gone in the first place. It's been a total mess.
I mean, even I can't remember whether it was the president there or just another authoritative figure there, but it's just saying it was the bare minimum to protect the bases. I mean, forget the island, just protect our own sovereign bases. And he was saying, we are so frustrated that you failed to do that.
Yeah,
and bare minimum.
Look, as I say, in hindsight, you can say that there was a failure,
but we knew it was coming.
I mean,
we knew it was coming.
Had 3 weeks.
Did we? Yeah, we knew 2 weeks before.
2 weeks before what?
Before the attack was launched. We didn't know when it was happening, but we knew it was coming.
We didn't know that. that Cyprus was going to be struck.
Well, that is obvious, though,
but
isn't it?
Cyprus is a key... Of course it is. It's a key strategic launching pad for anything in the Middle East.
Sure, but Britain didn't start in this conflict. It was drawn into it.
But we're an ally of the US.
Sure, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're complicit in everything the US is doing, as we've learned.
But it's obviously, if my neighbours have just been burgled, and I've got obviously nothing to do with it, I would want to then make sure that I've got maybe a Ring doorbell put on, or my own security systems, because I'm not impacted by what's going on down my street, but I know that there's been an attack or a theft or something that means that I need to respond by stepping up my security. When there's an attack in the Middle East, even if we're not involved in it, we've got to then protect our AF bases in that region. It sounds obvious, but obviously it wasn't obvious enough to the Defence Secretary or officials in government who should have planned better.
Charlie, let's look at something entirely different, shall we, in the Times. This is a relief for me. Choosing wine over beer could help you live to a fine vintage.
Well, yes, beer and spirits, no less. So if you're looking forward to the weekend, where hopefully we see a bit of good weather continued, as we've already seen this week, you might be having a little tipple. You might like a little tipple. But wine drinkers, apparently, on average, after a study of more than 340,000 Brits and looking at their alcohol consumption, wine doesn't specify what wine, so red or white. I'd go for both.
All are good.
All good. And
Rosé?
I'll swallow anything. On a weekend, at a good beer garden, no less. And look, you know, it's good news. But the downside is that there could be a bit of a caveat here, because wine drinkers tend to, and it's not explicit, but tend to be drinking wine with a meal, which obviously might be more healthy, and therefore your diet overall might be better than someone that might just be having 3 or 4 pints down the pub at the weekend.
And red wine has got lots of antioxidants in it.
Oh, give over.
That's what I always tell myself.
That's what I heard.
Yes.
I've never seen you drink red. But you down the rosé. You do like a rosé.
I adore rosé, yes. But red is good. Red's good in the pub.
Right. Now, Wagatha Christie, Sebastian, but not the Wagatha Christie we're thinking of.
No, not Colleen Rooney. And do you know what? This one's got Midsummer Murders written all over it. Even the setting, Clisthoniton. What a beautiful name for a little town down in Devon. There was a guy who lives there, and he heard about 160 years ago a hanging that had happened in the town. And then his dog was digging one day and found a bottle, this glorious vintage midnight blue bottle, and across it is written, "Not to be taken." And it turns out it's poison. And this is what's happened. The woman in 1865 had poisoned her husband, had been hanged for the crime, and the dog, 160 years later, dug up the evidence.
Wow.
How do they know it's that poison?
They don't. This is the star. This is all conjecture, but wouldn't it be great if it was
it's a great story.
And who goes around burying bottles of poison? It's got to be. I'm convinced.
Well, there you go. Inspector Paws.
Who needs facts? That's what I say.
That's it.
You've got a pooch, haven't you? You've got a Labrador, haven't you?
I do too now,
mine's a
Charlie.
Ridgeback.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Have you not seen him? Monty.
I haven't, no.
He was on air yesterday. Thanks for watching.
Is he as clever as this little dog here?
Yes, he's very intelligent.
Is he?
But I don't quite know yet. But I'm raising him
What
to be.
artefacts he might find for you?
Well,
Who
you
knows?
never know.
Who knows what career lies ahead of him?
You could be in the Star this time next year.
I can only dream.
Yes. All right, you two, we're going to take a short break from the papers, but they are going to be back in just a minute.
Good stuff.
But we need to tell you about the giveaway, because it's an incredible prize package of £92,000.
Yes, 25 grand in tax-free cash and a luxury camper van. Have a look.
A camper van and cash could be yours in our very latest Great British Giveaway. You could be driving away in this brand new Benavan 122. This 2026 model, worth over £67,000, comes with all of the mod cons you'd expect. Alloy wheels, solar panel, electric step and plenty of storage space. Plus, it comfortably sleeps 4 people. It's the ultimate home from home. And that's not all, as you'll also get an incredible £25,000 in tax-free free cash to boost your bank account this year. It's a prize package worth over £92,000 and it could be yours. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. The winner may be contacted live after all entry routes have closed. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Yes, good luck.
Right, Charlie and Sebastian are going to be back with more stories from the papers in just a moment.
But first, we're in search of some holiday sun. Here's the forecast across Europe.
Ready to soak up that holiday sunshine?
Won't we need some cover?
No worries. All sorted.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
With high pressure bringing sunny skies to the UK and France this weekend, low pressure has been forced to relocate elsewhere. And one area of low pressure will stay close to the Canaries and Madeira during the next week, bringing slow-moving heavy showers and thunderstorms could cause flash flooding. That also bringing some showers into southern Iberia. Plenty of fine weather through France, into Italy, but another low around Greece and Turkey will also provide heavy showers and thunderstorms.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Do you trust what you're being told? Good, because neither do I.
Those are just facts.
I'm Alex Armstrong, and on my show, we'll expose the spin.
Well, I want to answer that, because you didn't let me last time, because you always speak over me.
The broken promises.
To deny that is denying the truth.
And the hypocrisy.
We can allow.
Stop.
You think we can allow?
Politics, policy, parliament. Nothing is off limits. No sugarcoating, no fear of offence, just the truth laid bare. Tune in every Saturday and Sunday at 9 p.m. for Alex Armstrong Tonight, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Great to see you. Thanks for joining the Late Show Live. Are you excited for the arrival of our Harry and America's Meghan?
Oh, look, we're always excited for the arrival of anyone who's royally adjacent, and that's what you can call them these days. What I'm mostly excited about, though, is in several decades of covering the royals, of course, when they came here in 2018, they were at the peak of their global power and fascination. Meghan announced that she was pregnant with baby Archie. They sat on the sand. Meghan baked banana bread. We couldn't get enough of them. We absolutely loved them. But here, 7 years later, this is a country built on mateship, on loyalty, on service, and I don't think they represent those characteristics anymore.
No, I'm with you. I mean, I said last night, I went on a bit of a rant saying, you know, Meghan especially preaches humanity and compassion and forgiveness. I mean, look how she treated her dad. There's some event in Australia, either in Melbourne or Sydney, where they're holding a speech, basically. Tickets start at £1,000, with tickets rising to more than £9,000 sterling for a platinum table of 8. Do you think, I mean, who is buying those £9,000 tickets, do you think, Angela?
Look, we don't have that kind of wealth in Australia. Well, certainly not that sort of wealth that would pay for those sort of people. I think we would pay for technology experts or thought leaders, but I don't put Meghan in that category. Look, one of those events, the one that Meghan's speaking at, is the Besties event, where we think we'll just hear, what I suspect is we'll just hear more of the same that we've heard in her podcasts, which, you know, if anyone who listened to them, they were as boring as batshit. So the fact that she's going to charge this amount of money, that event is only thought to make £500,000.
GB News, the People's Channel.
As soon as it hits 11 and the headlines come in,
The Late Edition brings you the breaking news from all the front pages.
because the news is going to happen.
So get a head start today.
Patrick Christie's Tonight, Late Edition.
Alex Armstrong Tonight, Late Edition, from 11 o'clock every night.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We're back going through the papers with Charlie and Sebastian this morning. Morning, you two. Sebastian, let's look at something very lovely, shall we? We need a bit of that today. At The Times, page 2, the King walking along a cliff-top coastal path.
Yes, this is gorgeous. It's the King Charles III coastal path, which is finally finished. It's been in the works since the Gordon Brown days, and they've had to do it in bits and pieces. But now you can walk more or less around the whole of England, including a little lap of the Isle of Wight, along the coast, which is lovely, and I'm really thrilled to see it. And there was a lovely piece in The Times about the King going down and speaking to some locals down in Sussex and Hampshire, where the last bit has been put in. There is a more serious part, though, which is around right to roam, that you can only really walk on about 8% of land in England. It's increasingly over the centuries been taken away from us. So while we have these beautiful paths, there's a wider campaign in the works to take back more of our land and be able to wild camp and tread where you like and
but you can in Scotland,
the country. Can't you? Yeah, and Dartmoor now you can wild camp. So we're making progress. But
yes, I've been yelled at by a few farmers in my town.
He likes wild camping, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, no, I do.
Have you done it in Scotland?
No. Not yet.
Well, there's time. I've heard that's amazing.
Yes,
going
and there's a camper van you can win if you want.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
pick
no,
up the phone
I wish.
He can't enter, yeah.
No, you can't enter either, I shouldn't think.
Well,
no.
Well, I was going to say...
buy our own camper vans.
Some of these routes sound very nice to walk around, and I'd probably go around distributing photos and portraits of our king, putting them up in those places where only 3% of hospitals...
What do you make of that? I mean, Kemi Badenoch's sort of raised the issue again that only, 3% of hospitals, 7% of universities have actually they've taken up the offer of a free portrait to hang up somewhere. Do you think we should? Does it matter?
It absolutely matters. I would encourage more people to put up our Union flag above schools and public buildings, you know, just as I would maintain Churchill on our banknotes. This is history that defines who we are today. And I think if you lose that, if you sort of dismiss it, as some people have, whether it's the banknotes, whether it's the portraits of our monarch, whether it's our flag, then you start to erode all the other things that make us great and some of our heritage. I think it's a very, very small thing, but it's symbolic, and I think it's important to maintain.
Do you agree with what Kemi Badenoch was saying to Christopher Hope on his podcast, which is out today, by the way, wherever you get your podcasts, saying that people are afraid to put up the portrait because they're worried about offending others?
Do you know what? I think there is an element of that, but I don't know how we've got to a point where people feel that way. We should be very proud to be British. We have a monarch that is obviously the head of state of this country, but is also head of a Commonwealth. You know, that is historic. But, you know, obviously people will focus on the negatives, perhaps, of some of the Commonwealth and, you know, colonisation and all the rest of it. But broadly, obviously, what happens today is fantastic that we trade still with Commonwealth countries, that we, you know, have a monarch that represents those countries, and where we can work together. You know, I think that's a brilliant thing that we should be championing and celebrating. But obviously there'll be people that want to, again, like, you know, people that were against Brexit, want to rejoin, want to talk this country down, focus on all of its faults, blame ourselves, when we should be talking ourselves up. I'm proud to be British. I'm proud to have a king.
I think it's down to choice. If I ran a hospital, I'd be flying the flag, and I'd probably have a portrait of the Queen up. I have a very vivid image of my primary school hall and a very young picture of Queen Elizabeth II and a sign next to it that said, "No stilettos, please." But
oh, really?
Yeah.
How bizarre.
I don't know who was wearing heels to school, but I think it comes down to choice. And look, we can feel proud of our country, but we can't force other people to do it. We have to make the case for it. So it's that old fable about the coat coming off and the sun shining rather than the wind blowing.
But it is this very odd situation which I've never been able to get my head round. The fact that, you know, if you're a tourist and you come here, they'll buy all sorts of stuff with the Union flag on, you know. And yet, if we fly a Union flag, or you know, a George Cross or whatever it is, there are people saying you're racist for doing so.
I don't think you're racist for doing so, but there are a lot of people who remember the 70s, and in the 70s, if you're a person of colour in Britain, a lot of the time that flag meant you're not welcome here, don't come down here.
But it doesn't mean that now, it's 2026.
I know, but for those people who've lived through that, it's really hard to shake it off. Unfortunately, time moves on, and look, I'm the son of an immigrant who maybe once felt like that. I don't. So there is positive progress to be seen.
But you only make that progress, don't you, by reclaiming the flag, or you know, however you want to phrase it, and say, you know, this is our national flag, we are proud to be British, and and let's show it off.
I think you do, and that's why I would choose to fly the flag. The problem is, and as we saw with the whole, hanging the Union Jack up flag poles as we had last year, there were some people who had quite malign intentions who were doing that, and it poisons the well to an extent. Yes, there were some far-right groups who were funding that, and there were many people, I should say, who were doing that because they wanted to and had nothing to do with that. But the second you start to get that influence, it gets a little bit dangerous.
But you're right, the answer is to sort of reclaim it, not cancel it. And I think people that feel as though we just, it'll be too much effort, so we must cancel the portraits of our monarch, we should cancel Winston Churchill and our banknotes, we should cancel... That is
Churchill's different, though, because that went to a vote, and people said they'd rather have nature images...
Of a very small handful of people who are,
Sure, but we're not going to have a national referendum on our banknotes, are we?
Who's got time to have these...
Well, there's been such a massive backlash since, hasn't there, over Winston Churchill being removed on banknotes.
To be fair to the Bank of England, there is an argument to say it's down to security, and these new images will be harder to forge. But I mean, even so, can't they make harder to forge portraits of Churchill?
Well, I'd much rather that the general public, however small a group, had a say than a group of anonymous bankers on Threadneedle Street. It's a democratic exercise, and I think we've got a lot of great nature.
They're deciding now what the images will be.
Sure, but with a steer from the public, and we have a lot of great nature we don't talk about. We've got words falling out of the children's dictionary like acorn and willow and heron because children don't know those words anymore, and that to me is a great tragedy.
But they're not going to have the banknotes in their pockets, are they? Well, unless you're particularly well off.
We've only had historical figures on banknotes since I think it was about 1960.
And that was a great change, and it should be continued.
I agree, but it's not as though we've always done it in that sense.
No, but then I don't want to then move forward by then, and I still carry cash, whipping out a fiver and, I don't know, seeing just a picture of a beaver on my banknote. Thank you very much. I want to see Winston Churchill.
But it does just add to that sense, doesn't it, of our culture being eroded and national pride being eroded, doesn't it? And it's a shame, isn't it? If you go into any public building in Spain, for example, there'd be a portrait of the King, the Queen, the royal family up on the walls, and you wouldn't think twice. I was just in Kenya on my honeymoon. You walk in and there's a picture of the president on the wall, and proudly so. But in this country, it seems as though if you were to put
we're
up
embarrassed.
It seems to be the only country in the world that is.
Yeah. We're embarrassed by our own nationality, which is just a tragedy. Let's just finish off with a bit of speed awareness, should we? This is in the Times. Have you done a speed awareness course, Sebastian?
I'm not a driver. I must declare, so I've never done a speed awareness course.
But you're not a driver either, are you, Charlie?
No, I get driven.
Oh, you Londoners!
I do drive. I do have a driver's licence.
Oh, you do?
But I don't have a car.
Right.
Not since the incident.
No.
I'm joking. Well, I sold my car because coming to London, it is pointless driving. I think public transport is actually very good, even though it's gone a bit downhill under this Mayor of London.
But did you ever break the speed limit whilst you had a car?
I'm not sure about that, but...
Are you? You should know.
There will be... Well, I think I always maintained the limits, but we're seeing there's over 1 million more people now having to do these speed awareness courses. Yeah. Maybe because of... I mean, I don't think we need 20-mile-an-hour zones plastered around everywhere. I think that's a bit of a...
it's so important, though. In town centres, in central London... It's a land that is colonised by drivers. May the pedestrians unite to that rise.
We've got hard-working Brits that get up at 3, 4 in the morning to go...
Crawling across the city,
polluting the area for more than what they want.
There's a 4-lane public transport system.
There's a 4-lane Edgware Road, not that far away from here. 20 miles an hour. 3 o'clock in the morning. What's what? There's no other cars on it.
And how many tube stations could you walk to from Edgware Road? I can count 3.
Yes, but if you're driving, why's it got to be 20 miles an hour when there's nobody else on it?
Because you shouldn't be driving in central London unless you absolutely have to. And too many people make short car journeys in London. The majority of them are under 2 kilometres. And you think, why?
Well,
get on the bus,
because they don't feel safe under this Mayor of London, probably.
That's for another day.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Right, don't go anywhere. We've got the weather for you with Aidan.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. It's simply a dry and sunny day for virtually all of the United Kingdom today, and with less cloud in the northeast, it'll be warmer here as well compared with the last couple of cloudy and cool days. The winds have switched direction for northern parts of the UK. That does mean that a weak weather front will just drift into the far north and northwest of Scotland. Later, that will provide thick enough cloud for a few spots of rain. Otherwise, it's dry across the board. Sunny spells and certainly a brighter day to come for North East England, Eastern Scotland. In fact, that's where the highest temperatures will be, 17, 18 Celsius possible. In some spots, that's 8 degrees or so higher compared with the last few days. But it's not entirely sunny as we end the day. We've got this thicker area of cloud for Shetland, Orkney, into Lewis and Harris, and that will give a few light showers. Otherwise, for much of Scotland, clear spells to end things on Friday. Plenty of clear spells for Northern Ireland, just some high-level cloud drifting into the far west later on, and patches of high-level cloud elsewhere across England and Wales, but not enough to spoil things. There are a lot of clear spells across the map heading into Friday evening and overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds, temperatures will soon fall away despite the warmth of the day. It's going to be a chilly night, especially towards the south and the east of the UK, with a frost expected in places as we begin things on Saturday, some mist and fog patches as well. A different story for the northeast of Scotland. Here we've got thicker clouds, keeping things frost-free, but also allowing some light showery rain to emerge into the northwest Highlands and again the Northern Isles and the Western Isles. Otherwise, it's another sunny day across the board, with temperatures responding very well indeed. Light winds, increasingly strong March sunshine, and highs into the mid or even high teens in places, much cooler in the northwest of Scotland.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for making GB News Radio such a huge success. Whether you're in the car, on the go, or listening at home, thank you for choosing us as your radio station.
Good morning. This is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8 eastbound, lane 1 is closed at junction 15 for roadworks. The A465 westbound in Wales is slow from Neath to Landarcy. In Manchester, the M56 eastbound between junction 7 and 6 has one lane shut due to a broken down vehicle. In Slough, a crash on the M4 westbound between junction 5 and 6 has 2 lanes closed, causing delays. In Kent, the M25 anti-clockwise at junction 2 has a collision blocking one lane. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Cross Country report major disruption at Glasgow Central, with delays near Rugby and Milton Keynes. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
You could be the proud owner of a brand new Benevan 122. This very latest 2026 model comfortably sleeps 4, comes complete with built-in kitchen, compact washroom, and is worth over £67,000. But that's not all, as we'll also give you a further £25,000 in tax-free cash to spend on anything you like in the coming year. For another chance to win a camper van and cash, text prize to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge, or post your name and number to GB20 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of May. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless, and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10. So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Good morning. Soaring energy prices threaten to cripple the economy.
With warnings the war in Iran could cause bills to rise for years to come. That's despite President Trump promising that the end is in sight.
I wanted to put out that fire. And I said, you know, if I do that, oil prices will go up, the economy will go down a little bit. I thought it would be worse, much worse, actually. I thought there was a chance it could be much worse. It's not bad, and it's going to be over with pretty soon.
Well, should the government now change the fiscal rules in order to give the economy a boost?
Elsewhere today, Cyprus threatens to ditch the RAF bases on the island, calling them colonial, and the EU is backing them all the way. Well, earlier we got the views of Shadow Crime and Policing Minister Matt Vickers.
The government let the side down on this. We were too slow to react. Keir Starmer dilly-dally, dither and delay, instead of protecting our bases, instead of allowing the US to use our bases and engage in the situation.
Yes, Cyprus is requesting a Chagos-style handover of the RAF bases on its island, and the EU is backing it. How disastrous could that be for Britain? Find out more with me very soon.
No end in sight, unfortunately, with a meningitis outbreak in Kent. Officials are still looking at just how bad it is and just how far it's spread.
As it's revealed, just 1 in 50 hospitals have portraits of the King on display. GB News has been getting the views of the leader of the Conservatives, Kemi Badenoch.
The King is the best of our brand. The royal family is the best of our brand. People look at them in awe. I think that they do so much good in this country, and that's something that we should be proud of. But we keep being told, oh, let's keep this repressed. It might upset some people. Someone's worried about colonialism. Someone's worried about racism or white privilege. All of this rubbish needs to stop.
One of Britain's leading restaurateurs has a message for government after a year that's seen the hospitality sector struggling like never before. He's going to be on the programme at 9:15.
It's another beautiful spring day out there for much of the UK. Plenty of warm sunshine, even for those areas where we've been plagued with cloud over the last few days. Full details coming up in the forecast very soon.
It's just gone 9 o'clock. I'm Stephen Dixon.
I'm Ellie Costello, and this is GB News Breakfast.
It's all pretty grim at the moment, isn't it? I suppose you'd expect it with the ongoing war, and we know because of the region it has an impact on oil and gas prices and all the rest of it.
Our petrol is already through the roof, isn't it? I paid $1.40 the other day.
Yeah, well, and it's going to go a lot higher.
It is going to go a lot higher.
I mean, but the interesting thing is we saw one of the headlines earlier on was your prices could go up. Our fuel prices for home could go up by £300 within the next year. Now that's bad enough, isn't it? But you've got to then tie that in with the fact you're paying more for your petrol or diesel. You are going to be paying more for food because of the way that's all transported in and all the rest of it. So it's that amidst everything else. And it is proving to be very bad news for British bills, and it is all that fallout from the attacks that are underway and just the way that is now hitting us here at home.
Well, UK gas prices have surged by 25%, while interest rates are expected to rise twice this year, leaving households facing higher bills that could persist now for years to come.
Well, the Prime Minister's coming under pressure from within his own party amid warnings that they may need to reconsider government borrowing rules in light of the ongoing conflict.
Well, it comes as the European Union has backed Cyprus after it called for a discussion about the future of what they described as colonial British military bases on the island.
We're going to be talking politics with the government in 5 or 10 minutes or so. But in the meantime, our political correspondent Olivia Utley is here. And can we start with Cyprus? Because it's easy to understand how the Cypriots and the Cypriot authorities feel let down. But to say basically saying they want to get rid of us from a key strategic area and they've got the EU backing them, is pretty serious.
It's very, very worrying indeed for Britain. Just to give a bit of background, Cyprus was a British colony, really, until 1960, when sovereignty was handed over. But under the treaty by which that sovereignty was handed over, Britain was allowed to keep these very important strategic bases in Cyprus, one of which is RAF Akrotiri. Now, after that drone attack from Cyprus on the 3rd of March, the Cypriot people were absolutely furious. They don't want to be part of the war in Iran, and they are worried that they're being dragged into it by Britain. Part of the issue, of course, is that there isn't yet any kind of defence for Cyprus in the area. Britain have been slow. France have sent over some defence to help out Cyprus, but Britain hasn't yet done anything. This is just part of this pretty slow response. I mean, the government says that it's all just taken a while to load up these ships properly because they're going to be there for a long time, etc. So they don't feel that Britain is defending its base properly, and so they say that it is time for Britain to hand over those RAF bases to Cyprus. And of course, there is a blueprint for this in the Chagos deal. And I wonder if Keir Starmer is now worrying that he's opened a bit of a can of worms by going so far ahead with these Chagos talks, because the Cypriot Prime Minister is now saying that as the Chagos Islands could be handed back to Chagos, he thinks something similar should happen for these RAF bases to be handed back to Cyprus. The EU is backing him. I mean, they would. Britain is no longer part of the EU, and Cyprus, these RAF bases aren't being properly defended. So it's not surprising that the EU is backing them. The Cypriot president is saying that he wants an open and honest discussion. The EU is saying that they are behind Cyprus all the way with this. The negotiation could be reopened. That could be carnage for the UK. This was a negotiation that was very carefully agreed under the terms of the Brexit deal a few years ago, but it could be reopened as the Gibraltar deal has been reopened. And if we weren't to have those, well, obviously we know how important those strategic bases on Cyprus are because they are being used right now for this war. So this could be disastrous. And I wonder if Keir Starmer, and to be fair, the Conservatives who started the Chagos negotiations before Keir Starmer took them over, are thinking perhaps we shouldn't have opened this can of worms.
Could this be fixed, Liv, with an apology and by sending more assets to Cyprus? Or has too much damage been done now? Have we left the Cypriots feeling exposed? Because you can understand why they feel that way. I mean, it is 18 days on from that strike, and we're still not there. HMS Dragon is still en route.
Well, exactly. I mean, it should arrive soon.
There's talk now of next week, though.
When it should have been this week. Perhaps that would go some way to reconciling the Cypriot people. But the problem is that it's extended beyond the people. There are, tens of thousands of people who live near these RAF bases. But the anger in Cyprus has spread beyond that. There have been protests in the capital of Cyprus. And the president is pretty clear about what he wants. What would be the sort of logic for him to back down on this, particularly when we do have the blueprint of Chagos making it look like it's possible? I mean, if I were the Cypriot president, you would push ahead with this, wouldn't you? So I don't know if there is an easy fix, although perhaps an apology and more assets, as you say, might sort of mollify the Cypriot people who understandably don't feel as though they're being protected and don't want to be dragged into the war.
There's two sort of big caveats. Well, they're not caveats, really. But, I mean, for a kick-off, what would we do in terms of strategic bases in the region if we lose Cyprus? It's crucial. But also, Chagos, I mean, is that happening? Is that going to just disappear now? What on earth's going on? It's this complete limbo that we're in.
Well, exactly, and that makes the Cypriot position a little bit harder because, obviously, Donald Trump is wavering on his support for the Chagos deal, and Britain has said that it can't go ahead with it without US support. At the moment, as you say, we are in a total limbo, waiting to see what's going to happen. If the Chagos Islands do end up being handed over to Mauritius, then there is a proper blueprint for exactly the same thing to happen with Cyprus, although it would be more complicated reopening that EU negotiation deal. And because it was agreed so recently, that might be a little bit more complicated. But, of course, these negotiations can be reopened, and we know that the EU is on Cyprus's side.
OK, Olivia, thank you very much.
What a mess.
What a mess. But as you say, it's a crucial military base, isn't it? We
really is.
We need a base in the region. So let us know what you think.
Still to come, one of Britain's leading restaurateurs has a message for the government after a year that's seen the hospitality sector struggle like never before. And it's an interesting message. You don't want to miss it.
But first, we're going to be speaking to the Environment Secretary about the government's new crackdown on fly tipping. That's next.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's political podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's political podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, DC.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Bold.
They are under no illusion.
Ray.
Are you a human trafficker?
Boundless. I've had enough of the nonsense, and I'm not afraid to say it.
Don't get us on the BBC.
Every weeknight, I tear through the headlines.
The smell of gasoline. Should we be worried about it?
From Westminster madness to cultural war chaos. What I'm going to do now is they are throwing things out the car as we speak. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. Patrick Christie's tonight, weeknights from 9 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
isn't it?
no,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I've been in Westminster for a long time, but I know that though power may be here, its effect on people's lives is across the whole of the country. We may be where rules are made, but it's where they're implemented that matters. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for forthright and frank discussion on where Britain has come from, where it's going, and where it will end up. That's State of the Nation, Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Vox Populi, Vox Dei.
13 minutes past 9. Lots of politics about today, as there always is. Particularly grim at the moment, though. Let's talk to the Environment Secretary, Emma Reynolds. Good morning to you. Can we start with cost of living? Because we are hurtling towards an ever-worsening cost of living crisis now, thanks to what's happening with oil and gas prices and the situation in Iran. What can the government do to ease pressures on people? Is it time to look at softening the fiscal rules around borrowing?
OK, well, thank you for the question. So what I would first say is that we have said that we will provide what the necessary support to help people through, which is a very difficult and concerning, as you said, geopolitical situation in the Middle East. The Prime Minister announced earlier this week a £53 million package to help those people in rural areas who are not on the gaswork and reliant on heating oil. But come April, people across the board will be seeing £117 off their energy bills. But as you say, it is a worrying time for families. I would reassure them that as a government, our prioritisation is to work with partners in different parts of the world to de-escalate this crisis, because we know of the impact that it's having on the cost of living back home.
But all of those savings, as you described them this year, become completely irrelevant, don't they? When we're talking about energy bills going up by £300, we're already seeing petrol go up at the pumps. Food's going to get more expensive, we're being warned. Interest rates up twice at least by the end of this year is being predicted. This is going to be a really, really difficult time for people. How are you going to support British families?
Well, we have spoken to the Competition and Markets Authority and to make sure that there isn't market abuse by energy suppliers. The Chancellor and the Energy Secretary hauled in the petrol suppliers last week and warned against any what's called price gouging. We know that this is a worrying time, but what you've just suggested obviously are predictions there from some. We saw yesterday that the Bank of England didn't decrease interest rates, but didn't increase rates either. There's been 6 interest rate cuts since the election, and thanks to the government putting the public finances on a more sustainable footing. So it is a worrying time, but I want to reassure people that we will do all that's necessary to help people through this.
I mean, adding to our woes, and it's a serious one strategically, is the situation in Cyprus with our 2 RAF bases there. What is happening? Because we've got the Cypriot Prime Minister basically saying they want us off, and the EU is backing them all the way. This is really serious for us.
So our Foreign Office and Defence Ministers are in regular touch with the Cypriot government and have been on the ground in Cyprus several times since the start of this crisis. This is a report that's just come in. You'll understand that as an Environment Secretary, I'm not as close to the detail as some of my other colleagues, but obviously we will work closely with our European partners to make sure that we can protect British nationals, but also EU nationals who are living in the region. We've got 300,000 British nationals living in the Middle East, and it is a very, very concerning time for them and their families.
But you can't be surprised by the fact that Cyprus now wants to have this discussion, considering the fact that this is 18 days on now from that strike on Cyprus, and HMS Dragon is still not there. It's still en route. We've left it to the French, we've left it to the Greeks, we've left it to the Dutch to defend Cyprus. It's our sovereign bases, and we haven't been able to take responsibility for them. So have we been too late to protect Cyprus? Can you admit that? And how do we ensure the safety of the personnel on the island?
Well, this is a top priority for both the Prime Minister but also the Defence Secretary. It was right that we ensured that you know, the defence capability was in the right place and you know, in the region. But what I would say is that we are working very closely with our European neighbours on this issue. We're working very closely with the French and the Germans and others, and we are focusing on the de-escalation of this conflict and calling for a diplomatic resolution to the conflict so that we can protect people in the region, but also that we can ease the cost of living pressure on people back home.
And you're here today to talk to us about tackling fly tipping with new clean-up squads. Tell us more. How much is this going to cost and where's the money coming from?
Sure, I'm announcing today a major crackdown on waste criminals to give the Environment Agency police-style powers to seize assets and to make arrests. We're also doubling their enforcement budget. We've also announced that we will toughen up the penalties, for example, for fly tippers, putting points on their licences and forcing them to join clean-up squads. We are acting on both prevention and enforcement, and then there's a small number of sites that are so horrific and bad and having such a bad impact on nearby residents that we have committed to clearing them up. But let me just reassure you that because we're toughening up enforcement and speeding up prosecutions, the objective is to recover those costs from the criminals themselves, making the polluter pay.
All right, Secretary of State, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you. Now, at 19 minutes, thank you. Now, at 19 minutes past 9, and we hear so many stories, don't we, on this programme about how the hospitality sector is in crisis. And one person who knows this all too well is Robert Walton, one of Britain's leading restaurateurs.
Well, after the Young Hospitality Awards last night, hosted by some woman in a glitzy dress, I recognise her, Robert has a message for the government.
Well, he's here now to tell us more. Morning to you, Robert. And what a fantastic event it was last night. The young chef, young waiter, young mixologist, world championship. So it's young people from all around the world. They're all under the age of 28, aren't they? They come to London and they compete to be crowned the very best chef, waiter and mixologist. And I was struck by how full of hope and positive the event was, because we talk so much, don't we, in the news about how this is an industry that is on its knees.
I know, and yet we had 27 people from all around the world. We're the leader. London is the hospitality capital of the world right now, recognised around the world as the #1. We export chefs and venues and brands all around the world. And here we are, we have no support at all. And by the way, yesterday, thank you. It was an absolutely fantastic event, and we crowned the USA as world champions. So,
but Scotland was on the podium, wasn't it? Scotland came third,
which is a fantastic achievement for anybody. I mean, there is competition is off the charts.
But if we're a world leader in hospitality,
yes.
Why is it not represented in politics?
Well, they just don't understand it. And they haven't understood it for a long time, by the way. This is not just this particular government. So, you know, we talk about the Minister of Culture, Media and Sport. That's hospitality in that bit. There is no hospitality. Hospitality is the 3rd biggest employer in the country.
Wow.
So why isn't there a Minister of Hospitality? And we've been talking about this for years as well, by the way. But I have no idea why the government don't recognise, which I hate that word because they love using that word, but why they don't recognise that this is a serious industry employing millions of people, bringing huge amount of revenue to the government, and yet Tom Kerridge is amazing, and I've been watching him recently, and he's been so vocal. You know, the rates go up 100% and they come down 15%, and that's a really good deal, apparently, you know.
I mean, it's interesting there you say that this is a serious industry, and you talk about the revenue that it brings in. It's the 3rd biggest employer in the country. And yet in this country, there is a sense that if you work in hospitality, that it's some sort of stopgap or it's a young person's job and it's not a career.
Well, not now. Not now. So
that is changing.
My job is to promote hospitality as a career vocation and a profession. And you know, a young waiter, chef or mixologist in those 3 categories, or anyone in hospitality, the training is tough. The hours are, but it's a passionate-led industry. And right now, you know, it's one of the only sectors or industries that you can go where young people are going to actually interact with people and speak to people.
Do you think if we'd had a minister for this previously, we wouldn't have ended up in the mess we're in now with hospitality?
Well, it would certainly help, wouldn't it? It would certainly help. If somebody in government really understood that in that bracket of culture, media and sport, that you just throw in the 3rd biggest employer in the country, it's ridiculous when you think about it.
You also announced something very exciting last night. It's an app called The Plate. Now, this is a movement, as you describe it. I was struck by your speech last night when you said you're not a political guy, but you feel like you have to do something because the government has got this so wrong.
So, Ellie, I've been doing this a long time. I'm a restaurateur, a hotelier. I've run my own businesses, and I was sat on the Restaurant Association for 33 years, and we're not going anywhere. So I think we just have to pick this up, do it ourselves. The Plate.uk is this new movement, community. We're going to build a community. We're going to have, if the government won't help us, then we have to help ourselves, and we have to get benefits in energy and all the other areas that we can help. So the Plate.uk will be the new community.
Fantastic stuff. Robert, thank you so much.
Good to see you. Thank you very much
always
indeed.
good to see you. Thank you.
Right, Britain's Newsroom is here next with Charlie and Miriam. Good morning, you two.
Good morning.
What have you got for us?
Well, we've got lots coming up. This prayer row in the public sphere in Trafalgar Square. Is it OK for Muslims to pray in public?
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. Yes, so Danny Kruger's just made a statement about that. We'll be discussing also this intervention from Lord Hermer, the Attorney General. He's put a challenge in to the Conservatives saying, are you opposed also to Jews praying in public? We're having a bit of a debate about that in a moment. We've got plenty of views on that. That's fair to say, isn't it?
Absolutely. All after the weather.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello, a very good morning to you and welcome to the latest update from the Met Office for GB News. It's simply a dry and sunny day for virtually all of the United Kingdom today, and with less cloud in the northeast, it'll be warmer here as well compared with the last couple of cloudy and cool days. The winds have switched direction for northern parts of the UK. That does mean that a weak weather front will just drift into the far north and northwest of Scotland. Later, that will provide thick enough cloud for a few spots of rain. Otherwise, it's dry across the board. Sunny spells and certainly a brighter day to come for northeast England, eastern Scotland. In fact, that's where the highest temperatures will be, 17, 18 Celsius possible. In some spots, that's 8 degrees or so higher compared with the last few days. But it's not entirely sunny as we end the day. We've got this thicker area of cloud for Shetland, Orkney, into Lewis and Harris, and that'll give a few light showers. Otherwise, for much of Scotland, clear spells to end things on Friday. Plenty of clear spells for Northern Ireland, just some high-level cloud drifting into the far west later on, and patches of high-level cloud elsewhere across England and Wales, but not enough to spoil things. There are a lot of clear spells across the map heading into Friday evening and overnight. And under those clear skies with light winds, temperatures will soon fall away despite the warmth of the day. It's going to be a chilly night, especially towards the south and the east of the UK, with a frost expected in places as we begin things on Saturday, some mist and fog patches as well. A different story for the northeast of Scotland. Here we've got thicker clouds, keeping things frost-free, but also allowing some light showery rain to emerge into the northwest Highlands and again the Northern Isles and the Western Isles. Otherwise, it's another sunny day across the board, with temperatures responding very well indeed. Light winds, increasingly strong March sunshine, and highs into the mid or even high teens in places, much cooler in the northwest of Scotland.
Warm and cosy, with a chance of zero visibility. Boxed Boilers sponsors the weather on GB News.
Thank you, Britain, for the thousands of you who are becoming friends of GB News each and every week.
Good morning, this is the latest AI travel news from gbnews.com. On the M8 eastbound, junction 15 has lane 1 restricted for roadworks. On the A465 westbound, expect congestion between Neath and Landarcy. In Stockton-on-Tees, a broken-down vehicle is closing one of 3 lanes on the A19 southbound between the A1046 and the A66. In Hertfordshire, a road traffic collision is shutting 1 lane on the A1 northbound between the A5135 and the M25. And on the trains, Avanti West Coast and Cross Country report major disruption at Glasgow Central and problems near Milton Keynes. For more travel news, go to gbnews.com.
This is GB News, Britain's news channel.
Britain's pothole problem is spiralling. According to car repair company QuickFit, damage caused by potholes has cost drivers a staggering £1.7 billion. And here in Wales, many drivers say the situation is becoming a nightmare. The Welsh Government says it's repaired 171,000 potholes across the country so far. But here in the city of Newport, some locals are not convinced.
We have some really giant potholes in Newport, and I'm really concerned we could end up with some fatalities at night with people riding on motorbikes and cycles. So it's a real big issue for the people in Newport, and it's in a really bad state.
And it's not just city streets feeling the strain. In rural areas, residents often have no alternative routes, meaning potholes are almost impossible to avoid. Nigel Hallett is the chair of Michelstone and Vedu Community Council and says rural communities face a different set of challenges. Newport Council says it's paid out nearly £25,000 in compensation. But some residents say their claims are still being refused, including one woman whose husband was left with a £350 repair bill.
We tried to claim with the council initially. One letter went off, standard letter return to say, no, you didn't tell us that the fault was there before you hit it, so we can't pay any claims out. So